Super dizzy.
Okay.
Well, I guess we can start, Dwayne will probably catch up to us. So what, on the board here, Jessica, is the,
So these are the funds that, they're county-wide funds, it's what they're called. You can move mills between these funds. And these funds, we're just to keep it really simple, we just want a balanced budget, right? So expenditures really shouldn't exceed revenues. So the total of the revenues of all of those funds is 2.548 million. And the expenditures at this point is that 2.6. So our expenditures are still exceeding our revenue by $55,655. That's just to balance the budget. That doesn't include, because there's been all of this confusion with cash reserves and how come it's going so fast and why do we have to build them up so fast? This has nothing to do with cash reserves, nothing to do with ending cash, beginning cash, any of that. It's just a really simple look. Budgeted revenue, budgeted expenditures. Budgeted expenditures should not exceed budgeted revenue. Really simplified. So right now expenditures are exceeding revenue by that much.
is there another thing for up there to see the,
We can talk about that too. Do you want to scroll down?
Sure.
Scroll down, Charlie. We have to change something. Go to the JP, submitted, and change that to 10,378.
Can you make it any larger? Thank you. That's better. Yeah.
And you can get rid of those numbers at the bottom too, that 38 and 16. So, was it last Friday? Yeah, I guess so. Last Friday, the commissioners had a budget meeting or work session, and they asked the departments to cut those figures. I guess they sent an email out, and submitted is what the department had sent back, and the difference is the difference. So,
So that 31,000 is a credit or what?
no. So the commissioners asked Public Safety to come up with $55,000 in cuts. Public Safety came up with $23,940. So they didn't meet the commissioner's request. They're still short, $31,060.
is there one that shows the history of the funds?
Yep, and go to the last tab. And this one, you're not gonna be able to blow it up. It needs to stay even smaller. So you can go up some, so you can see the total at the bottom. Or scroll down. Down. Yeah. So this one, it talks about, it has all of the same funds again. And you can see the total budget, over the year. So I don't know if you guys can really see it, but in 2009, it was roughly, it's 2.6, then 2.4, 2.3, and by the time we got to 15, we're at 2.7. Last year was 2.8. And you can see the different you know, the different funds and how they've trended across the past years.
So you might wanna make it bigger again so we can really see.
Yeah, this really,
I can't, you won't be able to see it all.
yeah.
Was there a way to get a copy of these numbers after the meeting?
Sure. So we go back to the other one now.
So basically, when we made the tough decision to reduce some of the workforce, we just weren't quite severe enough, even though it seemed pretty severe. 55,000 is still just to balance the budget.
Correct.
So,
No,
explain,
actually,
so I
it's
understand.
only 38,000.
Well, I was gonna say, because, I mean, if that's, then why are you asking us to come up with $55,000 more when that's what you're looking at to balance the budget? Like, a little confused.
No, here, let me see that one picture.
Sure, I'll just let you sit here, I can
So we
take
talking
notes
about two
someplace else.
different things? Are we talking about the 400,000 or whatever it is that we're in the hole? Or are we talking
Really simple.
about just balancing the budget for this coming year?
The only thing we're talking about is, can you see that? It's too big, isn't it? So the only super simple budgeted revenue, budgeted expenditures. Budgeted expenditures should not exceed budgeted revenue.
I get that.
That's it. So I would forget anything else related to cash reserves or, you know, certain numbers we've been shooting for, just to simplify it. I think this is the only thing that, it's just, that's it.
So can you tell me the difference between those two again?
55,655.
Is that what the cuts you guys asked to be made as of?
That's correct.
Yeah, this is her most current thing, and that's why she scrolled down to show that too.
So if you can see, like, we could make it a little bigger.
I think what Tom's asking is why is the 38,000 different than the 55,000?
Because this is what's still remaining. So if everybody had cut what the commissioners had requested, then it would have been, because we have 55,000 to go to balance revenue and expenditures.
Is that after the cuts have already been made associated with the second graph?
Correct.
The first number is 55,655, but under the second graph, under public safety, it's for 55. So that's nearly the 55,655.
No. So if everybody had done, so the cuts still to be made just from the other day that the commissioners asked the department heads to take a look at. The total remaining from that is 38,000. If all the department heads would have gotten to zero, they would have done exactly, come up with cuts exactly as the commissioners asked, you would have $16,000 left up here to cut.
Well, I'm not sure how the email went out, but I never did receive that email. I wasn't here on Friday, but I didn't receive it. And
So
2,000 more, I've already had an employee RIF
So you
at
could come
over
back and check.
18,000.
Well, I don't want to
How am I
count.
still having to give out another 2,000 out of my budget? And I'm already down to, I don't know how you run the office any lower.
many
There's other
con,
departments, there's the commissioners. I don't see them up there having to decrease any of their
9,000.
budget.
9,000.
I can't see it. Too small.
Maybe we should just close it then.
It was,
And it's
It was.
creating too much confusion.
it was.
If they can't see it.
It was included in the email that went to all the department heads in which this was affected. Kathleen's shaking her
It wasn't in
head.
my junk, it wasn't in my clutter, it wasn't in my inbox. I didn't get one. I don't know why. Maybe my name was spelled incorrectly, I don't know.
so how many contracted employers of the county is there that are making boo-boo bucks? Hello?
We have one contracted employee, as far as I know, that is trying to curtail the problem of, it.
One of the many problems.
Yeah. Now, there's PILT included in any of these numbers for revenue?
So PILT is primarily used now. It pays for all of PERS because no mills, there's not any more mills. We used to be able to levy for PERS and give PERS some of those mills, but we don't anymore. We've given them all to these funds.
Oh,
So now PILT has to go and cover all of PERS, the difference between what we're allowed to levy and the cost of health insurance,
mm-hmm.
and then the remaining amount can go to the general fund. In the past, we used to be able to transfer quite a bit of money to public safety from PILT, but it's all kind of spent in other ways now, primarily for retirement and health insurance.
When you say primarily, can you give us numbers?
If you wanted to come to my office, I sure could, but I don't have that detail now.
When, do you know approximately when did the PERS get tapped out where they had to start dipping into PILT for that? And
I think it was last year, and 16 was the first year that there was no mills allocated to PERS last year. It was
And
the
that-
first year that it all came from PILT, was last year.
so we're just at the statutory ceiling limit where they're not allowed to increase those?
No,
The permissive ceiling has been hit
for PERS,
and/or insurance?
so PERS isn't permissive. It's county paid. It's not, comes from our regular mills or our county-wide mills. It's not permissive. Health insurance is permissive. And I think, that's something that the commissioners can look at next year would be to maybe lower health insurance a little bit, the different types of plans you can get. For PILT, I do have one number for you. So PERS, the retirement, it's roughly $121,000, and that all comes from PILT now. And the health insurance, it's $392,000, and roughly 50,000 of that comes from PILT, because we have a shortfall. We can't, the permissive levy doesn't cover the total cost.
And PILT last year was like 217, 217?
It's like 220,000, somewhere, yeah.
What is PILT?
It's payment in lieu of taxes. It's money that the Forest Service, since they own so much of our land, they give us payment in lieu of being a property taxpayer. And it's pennies on the dollar, but since they have so much land here, we get that money, and it's anywhere from 212 to 220.
And it doesn't have any restrictions like a lot of other money.
Right,
do.
and yeah,
Yeah.
it's money that you can move around from
Mhm.
the general fund, or like she said, health insurance or PERS or whatever. So unlike the Secure Rural Schools money, that money is earmarked specifically for 1/3 to the school and 2/3 to the road department, and it can't be shell gamed around. It's
Mhm.
specifically for the road department.
So it's possible to take that shortfall of the 38,000 that's left after the final cuts from PILT and still have.
Well,
No,
we
what I'm saying
can't,
is
but
there's
we
no
can't
PILT
because
left.
we're already using PILT for the PERS and the overage on the health insurance.
And the remaining amount's already budgeted in that general fund revenue. It's already all accounted for.
So Robin, you know, we were talking the other day, and one of the things that we talked about is new Title III, or even old Title III, I don't know what's left there. I mean, if we're able to pay for our mapping system, which there's only one person that says we can't, and several others that say we can. If we're able to do that, we could, it looks like, Ronnie, they're looking at our numbers, it looks like if we were able to do that, we could probably put another dispatcher on our 911 fund, so that'd be, what, around $46,000?
Mm-hmm.
that you can't. You got that email from Harold, and I spent last night reading the restrictions on Title III monies, and it says, I mean, it
Super clear.
it's pretty, very clear.
Okay, that's the first I've heard that.
Yeah, I mean, I can
You
can
can
forward
take it out
that
of
to you,
old, but not
the link that Harold sent.
We had heard different opinions, Tommy, and I was hoping that there would be, and I went and asked Harold Blatty of Mako, the president, and he gave me his opinion, and then he sent me the actual
Link.
line-by-line criteria from the feds on that. And
What
the thing
about
is,
old
what
then?
our next thing is, we're probably gonna have to get Danes and those guys to change it, because there's a lot of counties like us that have that money, but they can't spend it, 'cause there's so many
Right.
strict
Which-
restrictions
what
on it.
is
Well,
there-
they spend
what
it,
about old?
they just spend it on fire mitigation.
But they kind of spend it on
Yeah,
dumb
but they
dumb
spend
things. I mean, a
Yeah.
barbecue hot dog for, hey,
I
let's all
agree.
reduce the fire around our homes, or something.
Yeah, it's,
Yes.
And Danes is working
Silly.
on it, Tom.
Okay, good.
We have had
Yeah.
meetings with him, and he is working on that.
And the old, how much is
That
left
stuff
in the
takes
old?
time.
Not
Yeah, I was
worth-
gonna say. we
Yeah,
don't
I think the
know.
oldest about 45,000, but you've earmarked 5,000 over the next 3 years for some mapping, so, you know, I think you probably have like 28,000 left.
and then, I guess we can't use that stuff that we thought we could use for George, we can't use that for that then,
You
So
cannot,
is it committed or is it left?
for the old Title III money.
you cannot. So you have $28,000 left in old Title III, which would be allowed. But you're pushing, you could do that, but you're just pushing the can down the road,
Mhm.
because
Right.
next year, you'll be out of it, and then you'd be in the same situation, but, you know, you could do that. But mapping is allowed out of old Title III.
Okay, Tim has a question on that, for committed stuff.
Of old Title III, what's currently committed of it?
You, 5,000 for 3 years for, they approved that in the budget.
So then it leaves us,
You're at 5,000 for 3 years, and then you have 1,100 for your monthly, or your annual subscription.
And you didn't commit any other money out of it?
No.
leaves 28,000 balance in old.
Old Title III. And George Gupton was hoping to get some money out of there, but I talked to the auditor, and the auditor said that that equipment wouldn't be allowable. So the only thing committed for old Title III is that 3 years at $5,000 that they gave you, plus that 1,100 for the subscription. Does that make sense?
I don't know. It's hot in here.
Last I heard, I thought the radio equipment was committed.
No, we had put it in the budget, and then I said that we needed to check with auditors on that particular one, and they said no. So that equipment isn't there anymore.
But that's
But
the
the
last
money is.
of the unrestricted funds. You
Right.
spend that,
That's
we
correct.
have no place to turn to get
Right.
anything done. So did Harold Blatty talk to the Washington DC about Secure Rural School?
I didn't ask him, did you ask, have you talked to him about secure?
No, all I did was read the link that he forwarded us.
Well, the link is the link, but when you talk to the people in Washington DC, they say the methodology is to go to your county attorney, present a case to the county attorney, have the county attorney decide for you if that's appropriate funding, and if they write an opinion that it's appropriate funding, then you're allowed to spend that money.
You're talking the
The way I
new.
read it.
Well,
So if we're not asking the right questions of the right people, we're not gonna get the right answer.
well, I thought I asked it clearly to him. Let me find my email.
Did you find it?
Yeah. I said, Harold, I'm wondering what your thoughts are in regards to using new Title III monies to pay for mapping. Whenever we have a forest fire, that's the first thing fire people ask for, so that they better understand evacuation areas and where people live, etc. One auditor said we absolutely can't use it for that, but since it's directly tied to fire, I wondered what you thought. And he said, Roman, you may have already looked at this link, but here's the link anyway. It does not appear to me, Harold Blatty, that it can be used for mapping. He didn't say anything about the county attorney's opinion, but it's him leave.
You have
to
to
get
step,
that
I think
letter.
Oh.
he's going to get you the copy of that
Oh,
email
okay.
that he got from some people back in Washington.
So there's 5,000 a year for mapping and you can't do mapping.
No, this is a totally different thing that he's asking over 5,000. We're asking, what we're asking is to have the mapping update stuff, because it's all for emergency 911, come out of the Title III monies, old or new. And, because it would save
And that's
our
a lot.
budget 20-some thousand, that we could put another dispatcher into our 911 system without mapping. And that would put 3 dispatchers in the 911, which would also cut down the sheriff's budget.
Right.
So it's gonna
And do we want to go over what the different departments did do, for example, so they could agree?
That's what they want to do, yeah.
So I'll say this too publicly right now. I keep hearing rumors that part of what's driving ours is there's a rumor out there that for us to even remotely balance our part of the budget, we have to lay somebody off. If that's the case, I'm telling you right now, if that happens, or if it's talked about, I will resign. I will turn my badge in before I go to another one of my employees and tell them they have to be laid off because of this. I think there's other avenues that will take care of this without doing that. The things that have happened already, and if we continue to lay people off, like, we're gonna have a total collapse of the government in Mineral
Exactly.
County. And we can't do that. We can't run like this. I think, I mean, if you're talking about getting this 400,000, whatever that is, back to zero, I think it's something that has to happen over 5 or 6 years instead of
So what we're
1
talking
or
about,
2 or something like that. It just, that seems
it has nothing to do with what we're
to me.
talking about right now, Tom.
Pardon me?
Nothing to do,
I
that
know.
number
I know.
that keep people,
I know.
keep throwing out there.
I know.
It's that simple.
I know.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
Right,
For-
but if you keep dropping employees, you keep dropping team players that are already trained in what they're doing.
Do you guys?
They work as a team and you just
Right.
throw 1 or 5 out,
It's
then
there.
pretty soon there is going to be a collapse of the county government because there's not going to be enough employees to play.
If we can't get revenues and expenditures to balance, and where expenditures aren't greater than revenue, you would have a collapse of the government anyway. Because you can't
Well,
operate
then we're
like that,
just
right?
screwed, aren't we?
I mean,
Basically.
really, ideally, you guys have to look at a mill levy. I mean, that really is,
Well, everybody else has got mill levies, the hospital's got 1 million of them.
yeah,
So
I
they
think
get to
that's,
paint their walls and you know, come on.
Is
You
it
have to
something that can
increase
go around
revenue
this
because
time?
expenditures are about as low as they can go, right? I mean, so what's this other side? You have to increase revenue.
So is it possible for this year around, or it couldn't be until next year around to have a voted levy? Is that possible this year around?
It would be, as Stacy, I have no idea how all of that election stuff and deadlines work.
I don't think, like for the November election, I don't think you've got time now to.
Yeah.
Well, the commissioners couldn't ask for a levy to keep the government of Mineral County going
It has to
without
go to the
having to throw
voters.
people out and.
The voters have to vote whether to approve a levy or not.
Right, but it's gotta be somewhere for them to be able to vote. It's gotta be thrown out there.
Right, but I mean, that's what Jessica was saying, we don't know, I mean, that's a Stacy question. I mean, when,
Well,
you
then
know,
I'll
how,
follow it when I get
how
home.
soon, you know, can it be put out there? I mean,
And if we've been in such dire straits over the last 5 years, why hasn't this been brought up before? To at least give the community a chance to support us? Than to get to the point right now where we're shorthanded now, and we're still looking at, let's cut some more.
Yeah, that doesn't make a lick of sense. Or for someone making $60 an hour, that would be like maybe 5 employees, you know, at an hourly wage.
If it wasn't for the lady sitting here that is helping us, that we hired as a contracted employee, none of this would have been discovered until it was too late. And then there would have been more massive layoffs. There wouldn't have been any questions about it. Or government would have had to cease to exist. So don't pick on
And then what would've
Jessica.
happened?
She's doing what we've asked her to do, and she's doing one hell of a job doing it.
Right.
And excuse me if I get
No,
defensive.
I'm not picking
but-
on anybody.
Well, it keeps coming
I'm
up,
just
the lady
asking
that's getting
questions.
paid so much money.
I asked one time.
So what if we don't balance the budget and next year when it comes around for insurance, we just don't provide employee insurance like the rest of the.
We have to balance our budget. We're required
have
by
to?
state law to balance
Okay.
our budget. We're not like the federal government. We can't run in the red.
Okay.
Is that not correct, Jessica?
Technically, you could dip into more cash reserves
That we don't
that
have.
we don't have.
that you really don't have and balance the
Because
budget
that's
that
what
way.
we've
'cause
been
that's-
doing.
That's, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what has been happening.
And that's
been
what's
happening.
got us into this
So-
position.
Yeah.
I know, but I
But that's
feel like
so
you're putting
technically-
it all on us that we're overspending. But I just feel like even some responsibility on the 3 commissioners. You are the keepers of the money, and now you're saying all out of the blue, and because Jessica's here, all of a sudden, all this come up like it hasn't been there over the last 3 years, 5 years. I don't know if you want to blame it all on this news, the new that came in, all of a sudden, this is all, you know, we're all doing it wrong, and we probably need training, and nobody knows what they're doing. I mean, I just feel like it's all on us, and there's none on you guys. You're not taking, I think, at least some responsibility for the whole deal.
We have stated several times, Mary, that we've taken responsibility for it.
I just have never, I haven't heard
Well,
it. It just,
I-
morale is so low right now, and
I
I think
realize
it's
that.
just getting, it's just gonna make it worse. How do we keep the employees that we have and not lose what we have? I wanna move forward and have the good employees and keep it and be happy. We need some solutions, but not, I just don't see how we can continue to cut and still have services.
Is there an option of furlough days? I haven't asked this question yet, but I was checking into other things. Where school districts in California and Arizona that I had been in before had, so many days set aside that as employees, we didn't work and we took the pay hit that day. But if each one took maybe 5 days out of the year and did that, then that money could go back in to offset this.
Isn't that the exact thing that the government's done the last few years, had a shutdown?
In a sense, but you don't have to do it all at the same time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So
And
that's
so,
a huge impact.
exactly, so it's not meant to be like, it wouldn't be all of us pitching in. It's a sense of everyone pitching in. so that we don't have to lay anybody else off, and so that services can continue. It'd be all of us saying, yeah, we'll commit to this idea and be willing to give up that little bit in order for everyone else to be here and continue working. And it wouldn't have to be forever, but it would be until budgets were balanced and maybe reserves were built back up. You know, it would have to be a buy-in from everyone, and I understand that it's much harder for some to do that than others, and I don't know how that would work with our grant programs that we're paid out of with grants. But it would be worth, I feel like, and I know we're at the last minute here, and it's just been things I've been researching, but it's a suggestion I
So we
wanted
can,
to put out there.
employees can offer to do it, but we can't require them to do it.
But it's still something we could bring to everyone's attention.
We can't, yeah, sure, I mean, we can't say to an employee, you are not gonna get paid for the next 5 days.
So is that something you guys have talked about, looked at?
The furlough, that's the first I've heard that.
That's the first, yeah.
There is one department that has offered that already, and that's how they got to the number that they needed to get to.
It's something that could apply across the board, and even the commissioners that participate in that. And it's just something that I've seen work in school districts and other places and those types of things. And that way morale does stay up, that we're all in it together. So it's just a thought, if we could crunch some of those numbers and what that would look like, that it's worth maybe checking out.
So do you want Jessica to go through each department and what's been done thus far, or?
I think there's only a couple departments that really I need to discuss. So the first department that I think we need, well, do we even need to discuss the JP? Like what's proposed or not necessarily? Okay. But then the only one I can think of would probably be the health department, just because they would need to approve that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we can do that salary?
I'm sorry?
Salaried employees.
Yeah, you can do that. Yep.
So do you want to?
Well, it's, you know,
Sure.
I mean, some of the, you know, elected officials, they get the extra $2,000. I mean, I've even offered that, so.
So what the health department did is we went back and forth quite a bit, Peggy and I, and what she has offered to do is take a 7-week furlough in the year and to drop her hours from the general fund to 14 instead of 24. If the commissioners are willing to.
14 hours a week?
There are some things that we'd have to work out on that, but Peggy made it work.
It's really inclusive of the administrative as well.
Yep, and it would include, so what it would do is it would give her the opportunity, because it cut so much, it would allow her to hire a 30-hour-a-week employee
At $10.
at $10 an hour to be the administrator for the health department.
And then the current person that's 40 hours a week, that's 10 hours in the general fund, 30 hours in FEP, would go all to 30 hours in FEP and not have any time come out of the general fund. So
And there was an increase in revenues too. We kind of understated the revenues a little bit, and
for immunization.
For immunization,
Because there's going to
so-
be a whole new billing method now. So
Yeah.
those can go up a little bit.
Right.
So the whole thing, the only reason why kind of that's being discussed is because you guys would need to approve to allow Peggy to still have paid health insurance. Because that's what she's asking for. So she's willing to go to 14 hours and take 7 weeks off in the summer, but she still would want health insurance. And so that's the reason why I think that's why I think we need to bring that one up. The other ones are, straightforward, I guess.
And I have to give the health department humongous kudos
man.
because they worked very, very hard to get
They did.
to where we needed to be and cut things. I mean, what they do for the healthy, community that we have is invaluable, and the things that they cut is gonna make their jobs a lot harder. But they did it, and, Peggy and her department should be applauded for all of it, so.
I would like to make a comment. I see this as kind of a temporary fix for the situation we're in, and I'd like you guys to really reconsider at some point down the road when you guys get healthier in your budget, that you reestablish that director position back to at least 24 or 30-hour week. I'm only doing this because of the situation that we're in right now. And I see it's more valuable to save other positions that we need for nurses in the school especially. So I value that more. That's why we're working this out, to make it work for you. But I don't intend on it to be permanent.
And I think it gives us time to get the revenues up, to get the billing done and, going in the right direction. It'll help us to be able to anticipate a little bit better what those revenues are gonna be.
And I could probably do that too, what Peggy's doing with the job offer that I've had recently. I'd have to talk to the employer that offered me this, if this is a possibility, leave for 7 weeks. The other thing that I'd have to do obviously is talk to my staff about it. I'm kind of jumping the gun a little bit,
As we
putting
done
my
tonight.
cart in front of the horse, because that's first and foremost, is talking to them and make sure it's not going to impact us in Middle County as for public safety.
You couldn't do it all.
Well, and I know, that's the other thing. Can I do it in chunks? Like a week at a time maybe, and then another week later, and another week later, whatever. Something that I would certainly look at.
And then what about the smaller offices that have less employees? I leave, it gives a hardship on my office because there's too much work, not enough people. Right now, with the three of us, there's more work. Just because we lost an employee didn't lessen the amount of work that's done in that office. So then how do I do that and make them even less if I'm taking a day off for that? And we all still deserve vacations, and some of us get sick too, so it just puts even more of a hardship. And that might be good for the bigger departments, and there's more people to spread around the work. Not saying it's not something that I'd be willing to do, but that also need to think about that part. If we're saying I can't do that, that would be the reason why.
Well, and the other thing too, I think someone said about health insurance and, would we still have coverage? For me, I'm a vet, I'm connected with VA and I'll have coverage for them, so it wouldn't impact me so much, but others, that are considering this, what I'm saying is that's a question that needs to be asked of MACO. Is this even doable? Does people still have insurance? Does it affect their retirement? Lots of different things like that.
Will they still accumulate sick and annual?
Well, for like elected officials, they don't accumulate that anyways, but it would affect retirement. And as far as health insurance is concerned, we're in it already, where it's too late to change that for this year. But I know next year that's something that we'll want to look at.
The other thing that concerns me, I think, was Mary, brought her, Peggy. These are temporary fixes, Band-Aids. How do we fix this so we don't have to face this again?
Well, I think like we came up, we probably could put a public safety levy on the ballot to
But
see.
again, that's a temporary fix. It's not.
Public safety levy?
Mill?
No.
It's not. That's not permanent, isn't it?
You can do it either way. You can run it as a permanent,
Or
you can run it as 10, run it as 20 years.
Comes up every 5
can-
years, whatever you want to.
You can run it however you want to.
Because that's what the hospital is, just a 3-year, and then it's
I
done.
didn't
There's
realize.
no
I
more.
thought it was
2 year.
just a limit of like 2 or 3 years or whatever.
No,
No, you can.
No.
it can be permanent.
It's because we only have so much revenue to work with when they tell us what the value of our mill is, and that's it. And so if we need more, and like she on the board, they're telling me we're public safety's gone up and up and up, but really a lot of it isn't because you have more people. A lot of it's just the cost of doing business. They got the mandate for radios, or you got the mandate for a new SWIFT system, or you got, and then just, or gasoline, maybe not today, but gasoline goes
We've had 7 deputies.
Yeah.
I don't know, since I can remember, when
Right.
I was a deputy back in the late
Yeah.
80s, it was 7.
So, and then when there is a
Right.
little bit of a raise the jailer just 8 years ago were making like $7.75 an hour, That's horrible. Now we finally got them where they are, but all those little things,
Right.
the cost of doing business. So I'm saying that when we have increases, it's not only to treat people humanely, but also we're gonna have to find a way to supplement some of these things. Cause our just general fund pool is hurting. And what they did in the past, when the sheriff's office would run out, then they would just transfer the PILT to it. And as Jessica explained, the PILT now is being used for other things that have gone up, like PERS and health insurance. So I think that if we do,
Well, and our comprehensive insurance went up.
if we do have
considerably.
just a temporary Band-Aid, so to speak, at least, so we need to balance our budget. We need to have a little bit of time to get a healthier revenues and maybe even some kind of a levy that's voted on so that we can hopefully keep running things as they should be,
That's really what you just need more revenue, truly.
And I don't know, go ahead for your numbers tonight, take another $2,000. I want to give up my $2,000
Okay.
of my pay for that, so.
I've already, told you to do
Lori and I
that.
both said that.
Yeah.
But I thought that there was state statute
I-
that said we couldn't,
Yeah, that's what
But I-
Harold said, but,
we need to check
because
on
I
that.
asked him at
too.
the district meeting I says, can we,
Well-
I know that the elected officials, you can give them this, but the commissioner
Well,
said he said, no, it says you shall.
Go ahead and
but-
include it, and then
But
tomorrow
still,
we'll ask Mako.
I'll give it, yeah, I don't care what the
Because
statute
every little
says, I
bit's
can
gonna
give it
have to
out.
help here, so.
Okay.
But we need, like with Tom's saying he would take the furlough days, we need those answers tonight, don't we? I mean, if we're gonna
Yeah, I'll-
finalize this
That's what
tomorrow.
this is.
Yeah, it has.
I don't-
So what happens if it's, this is the first year since I've been a commissioner that September 1st, we've had our budget finalized. So what happens if we don't?
Well, you get an audit finding and you're paying me enough money where I don't want any more audit findings.
I agree.
I mean,
Yeah.
you're paying me to do my job, and this is the
Yep.
job, and
Yep.
it needs to be done.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely the one pushing that it needs to be
Yes.
done.
I know.
Because, we've had a lot of time, many, many, many weeks to discuss this, and now we're down to the very last day. And we just need to make the decisions and approve the budget.
I'd love to be able to stand up here and tell you that I can do that tonight, but, there's people I have to check with. I can't give you a definitive, I can do it, because I don't know that. right
Then
now.
maybe we need another option just in case.
Folks, but, what's
something.
wrong with? Well, I'm gonna say that.
What?
Well, I was just gonna say, what's wrong with approving it then on a hope and a prayer that I can do this,
Like a
And
budget
I
and-
come to you tomorrow and think, gosh, I said I could and I can't.
Well, we could have a backup option. We could say, okay, so Tom, this is what Tom's thinking, and unless we hear from him tomorrow, if he says he can't, then we need a backup option.
Okay. What's our backup option?
That's the,
Well, I'd say this for your backup option, if you're looking at the idea of donating some time by the elected officials, go ahead and take your check and sign it over to the county. You still have to pay taxes on it, but then you get to deduct it because you give it to a government entity. So it's a wash for your taxes. It's just that, you're getting paid and you're just donating it to, the government entity. So that's one way, option two, to accomplish the same thing, other than just not getting a check in the first place.
So for an elected official, they're just paid a salary.
They're paid a salary, so what we would do is we would just prorate. We would figure out what their daily, what their rate of pay is, and then we would,
And that's, okay.
yeah.
Okay.
But Ronnie and Tom were asking about old Title III money.
Yeah,
As a, like a backup?
yeah.
Backup.
Tim, did you find the document you went looking for? or- Did- You left when I was in the middle of my email. Did you find the document you were looking for?
Yeah, I thought I gave you this before, but I mean, the SRS official in Helena said, in Washington DC, said that you could make a determination at the local level. It's the county money.
And that's what we always maintained, wasn't it, Tim?
Yeah.
Federal
But-
money, federal compliance, federal audit, federal.
Hmm.
So Title III, old
So
Title
really,
III
we
money?
should finish up with the health department.
Hmm.
Are we approving, do you guys going to approve health insurance and continue paying it at that level? Because we need to get,
It's helping meet this 15,000, correct?
right, it's helping by 10,000.
Okay.
Even with adding,
Yeah, that's after adding,
that's after adding, it's,
Mhm.
it's more than,
it's 10,000. So
Yeah,
you should put that in the minutes.
I'd be all right with that.
Yeah.
I would make that one.
And thanks, Peggy. Yeah, I agree that we're just trying to get through the year and hopefully we'll be able to have a
No,
healthier.
we're gonna have to put it on an
When you
agenda
see
to
the
hire
dire
somebody,
straits
so
our
we won't
county
do
is
that right
in, you
now.
gotta
No, but the
really
health
think
insurance
outside the
thing.
box.
Right, yeah.
And I.
You just
know,
approved that,
that's
so
what
they,
we-
there should be the minutes.
We think outside the box.
Posted, I have to post
So
that.
if it's going to help for
No,
a
but they just
temporary
approved paying her
time.
health insurance for $14 an
Yeah.
hour. I mean, for 14 hours a week.
I'm pretty sure that has to be posted on an agenda.
Oh,
I
you're saying that?
actually think that it should be put in the minutes that it's only for a year too. And be made clear.
So what we have to do is we have to post that on an agenda. Like, you guys are giving a verbal now, we'll place it on an agenda and formalize it, because it's not on the agenda right now.
Okay.
Right.
There
Yeah.
was no.
But good,
Yeah.
but it
Yeah.
should be, okay.
Good catch. Good
I
call.
like her idea about reevaluating that.
The
Yeah.
end of this year. if we
Next
can
budget
have
year.
any agreement.
I also have one other thing, and I hope I can do this. I have a resignation of Laurel from her position as the coordinator of the Public Health Improvement Systems Grant. So I'm gonna hand that over to
Mm.
you.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know if this will help anything in this situation, but I just talked to Stacy, and the mill stuff will not be on this election, but there can be a special, election or a special meeting or something to bring it in mills.
He can hold a special election, it just won't be in the November one, is what?
Right, exactly.
I think she told us that before.
Yeah, and to, if mills will help, then so be it, what the heck, might as well try it.
Well, for the Plan B, I'm wondering if we should try to take advantage of the Title III money and help balance the budget, and then hopefully we can get,
Old or new?
Has to be old.
Has to be old, because new, we've already been told by our auditor, that's a big fat no-go. He will find it.
Absolutely.
And what happens if he finds it?
You pay
You
it
might
back.
have to pay
Pay it back.
Not allowed cost.
yeah, that letter, Tim, from that guy is kind of vague. It just kind of says, you guys decide what it's used for, but the question wasn't specific to that mapping. I wonder if he would have said something different if it was,
You take it out of the old.
Take it out of the old, yeah.
yeah. What time is it in
Use up all the
Washington DC?
So it would have to come out of old.
So if we get Dean's fired up tomorrow and Dean's calls SRS and SRS says, oh, that's perfectly allowed expense under GIS mapping, under the new Title III funds, and they call us and tell us that's okay, then we're all set.
Then
And
we
he
could-
tells our auditor, and our auditor doesn't tell us that we have to pay
Well,
back.
well, that's what I mean, wonder if we could use the old now, and
Yeah,
then if we
that's what
get,
I'm
and then
saying.
if we get that kind of a response, then we can do a budget amendment and use it on the other one. So, I mean, if we have 2, 4, 6,000 plus the old money of 28,000,
34,000.
Yeah, you have 26,523 left in old.
and Mary, did you say you were willing to do the 2,000 as well?
I can cut my budget in other ways than to do that,
Oh, you can?
yeah. I don't know, I'm not sure that I'm,
So we can put down 2,000 regardless
To
of,
give up your $2,000.
well, just to make less, I think that I can still cut in ways. I didn't do this because I didn't see the memo from before, so I'd be more than happy to cut my budget, the 2,000, somewhere else.
somewhere,
to
so we
lose
can put
that
down
much.
2,000.
Yeah.
Do you want to look at the line item and tell me where you want to cut it then? Because I
Well,
need to know.
So
this evening.
travel, I think that I can take the 2,000 right out of the travel. If not, most of it out of travel and
We
some
don't,
more
it's not
out
an
of
option, we can
supplies.
take it away.
Yeah, you can
Harold
take
told-
the 2,000 away.
Harold
Just
already
take
told
it.
us that.
So you want to take it out of travel?
I have a travel claim in right now.
Mm-hmm.
I need to go to that, and then there wouldn't be any other travel. And I think it's right at 1,900 and something for
Let me
the
just take it away
travel.
from all the elected officials. Harold already said that.
But if you're gonna take the 2,000 from me, then no. But we can take that out of travel.
So you're saying, okay, so.
I have a claim in right now. I'm not sure exactly how much that is, but I believe it's less than 1,000. And it says 31 is what you're proposing. You could take 2,000 out of there. Right?
And
Yeah,
Judge-
unless,
Judge McGowan already declined his 2,000, he gives it to his employees,
Yeah, I
so.
know that.
What's that?
It's reminding Lori that your
Yeah, I know,
2,000,
you've
you've declined it and you give it
that
to
was-
your
I gave
employees.
That was
last
last
Yeah,
year.
yeah. So, will that work for numbers tonight? And then tomorrow, we'll have to get on the phone with this DC guy and see about the title. I mean, is this something that is getting close to where we need to be, or?
So how would you propose using the old Title III?
For what Tommy and Ronnie said,
For the
to,
mapping and.
for the mapping, so they can put the dispatcher and 911.
That'd be then 3 dispatchers there now, if we're able to do that.
Really?
Looking at the numbers.
no. Well, right now, we're gonna say just old, because I know you can't use new.
Well, we can't do it on a phone call, I don't think.
So let's say,
To be realistic, you're not gonna get on the phone
Yeah, in
and call
writing.
Washington DC and get them to change it for us. I mean, this battle's been going on for quite some time, and they like it that way, to tell you the truth.
Seems like it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, did-
Who all gets the 2,000?
Everybody but Judge McGowan.
No.
Out of our budget.
No, I don't think you can.
Oh,
I thought, when I talked to Woody yesterday, he's like, you got all these
Oh,
people that have to go to the
no,
academy and you
he's-
got.
I don't think he does.
Different line items.
He gets cornered.
Like for dispatch, that comes out of.
No.
Let her look, because I think you guys made it.
so we'll just budget to spend all the rest of old? Is that what we're thinking?
The judge and us.
That's what we're thinking?
I
Commissioners,
was
judge,
asking what they were
treasurer,
thinking. He said,
That's what I'm thinking, we're
clerk,
thinking.
and clerk and recorder.
26,
That's $12,000, right?
Mhm.
the sheriff's office already cut 23, right? Jess?
Yeah, they didn't cut anything, they just moved it. You know, I mean, they just moved it to 911 that would, so there was gonna be $23,000 left in 911.
Mm-hmm.
And so they just moved it. They moved another dispatch to 911.
Mm.
Nothing, it wasn't cut. You know, we're just, right now all we're doing is all we're doing right now is just kicking the can down the road unless you get a mill levy. You know, if the voters approve a mill levy, you're fine. Otherwise, you will be doing all of this again next year because none of these are permanent. You know, I mean, old Title III money will be gone next year. You're not going to have a cash balance on 911 because what's happening this year is going to bring cash to zero in the 911 fund. That's 2 dispatchers right there that would be back in public safety. You'd be in the exact same situation. So this is good and fine, but you're going to need to get a mill levy or you're not making any headway.
So is there any raises that are being given this year then to some of the employees?
Nope.
No.
No.
The only raises the sheriff's office is receiving theirs that they didn't get last year because of the stalled union.
Yeah.
They were a year delayed, but otherwise there are no. The salary compensation board met and suggested we freeze because of the situation.
So, as far as me going someplace for a period of time, or anyone else, is someone gonna check whether we're gonna still have insurance during those periods of insurance?
So the commissioners,
Well, I
yeah,
think as long as
the
you don't
commissioners
go
can
under
vote
the
to have you guys keep those.
30 hours, I mean,
Even if they go under 30
Yeah,
hours,
even-
you guys can vote to keep.
Remember like that
them.
one time you came in to see if we could authorize, we could, it's in our power. Remember when you had that?
Yep.
So we can, if you go under whatever hours, we can still say, well, we're still saving money by the furlough.
And that's.
Well, and he's different because he's an elected official.
Well, I was gonna say that, is it
Yeah.
true for all employees then? I mean, it would be, it's your discretion.
Mm-hmm.
Just hourly.
Tom, isn't that gonna affect your overtime though? I mean,
He
if
doesn't
you're
get
gone?
he doesn't get over.
Well, I realize he
No,
doesn't
he's
get
gone,
overtime,
but
but
yeah,
it's-
that's one, yeah.
That's one of the things I want to be able to look at is, it's hard to forecast for that because you never know what's gonna happen tomorrow in law enforcement.
Mhm.
You know what I
No, no.
mean? I mean, we could have,
Well, I think he meant your regular day-to-day business. If you're gone, is someone gonna be stepping into your shoes, getting time and a half for 5 hours a day now?
Probably, because they're so tight staffed anyway. How could you get rid of one of them?
the problem with that right now is we've got the undersheriff that's still, he's on light duty right now. He's come back to work Monday,
Full duty Monday?
not full duty,
Oh.
light duty.
Oh,
So he's not able to go on calls, you know, but he's in the office doing, you know, administrative stuff, exactly. So, I mean, I'd be a liar if I said, yeah, you know, this isn't gonna create over, it could.
Yeah.
But to what degree? You can't, it's hard to say. We'd sure be a lot better off if my undersheriff was back full-time, but he's not. And I don't know when he will be. I mean, it could be a month, 2 months away. What we've done is had a deputy on days so we can prevent, you know, that overtime and stuff. But with me gone, that's another body away. And you're right, you don't wanna pay more than just keep me here with the overtime.
Yeah, that's a tough.
so we're still at 20,000.
Well, one of my clerks has already dropped down to 30 hours a week from 40. I don't know if she'd be willing to drop more if she could keep her health insurance. That's something I could talk to her about. But health insurance is a big factor.
Health insurance is huge for all of us.
Yeah.
But our health insurance is Cadillac. When we look at the rest of the people in our county, they
And
don't have
that's-
health insurance. I bet a lot of county employees can qualify for the marketplace.
Yeah, but there's probably all those other positions in different spots are making a lot better money than most of our employees.
Is it possible, like for me, having VA, is it possible for me to say, hey, I don't want the insurance?
It doesn't help that bottom line right now. It comes from a different pot. I mean, it would help, you know, it will help a little bit,
Yeah.
but not enough to, because it comes from a different pot.
Okay, how about this then for me? How about like a test run per se? Short, you know, going like, say, 2 weeks. Let's give it a test and see. I mean, it's so hard to forecast for overtime because you just don't know, you know, from day to day, depending on your call load, whether you're gonna have overtime or not. But, I mean, I would hope it would give us some kind of an idea, you know, is this cost effective doing this, or is this gonna cost us more? What do you think about
Well,
that?
what,
I guess the
say
actual
what
bottom
happens
line is we're open
if, you know, I
20%.
mean, things are going along, and say come next March, and it looks like you're gonna go over budget, then maybe you might have to think about,
Well,
you know,
I think there's no question about, you know, a mill levy. I think it's not a question of if, it's a question of when are we gonna do this.
I think what Stacy told us last time is we won't be able to make it for November, but you can do another one and have us like a special or something.
In the spring.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, or even in December.
But you need time to
time to
PR.
sell
I
it.
mean, you
yeah,
can't
you
just
gotta
say-
sell it, you can't
Yeah.
just.
Yeah.
But I think most everybody knows that we're in trouble. I mean,
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
all talk to people. I think the whole county right now may not understand, but I think they all know that something's going on. And
Well,
I don't
I-
think it'd be too hard for
And
us
I
to
think
get out.
that's why it's important that if we, like I said, not if, when we do this, that I have the support of you three to go to these. I think we should have town hall meetings at all three of the, you know, out of the Superior St. Regis. And, because I know you guys know it very well, and I think what that would do was send the public a clear message that we are all very serious about this. It's not just the sheriff doing this, it's everybody within the county government to do that.
Cut me down to 20.
The other option with the mill levy too is, I mean, at the next directors meeting, having everyone sit down at the table and determine what is the best mill levy to offer. I hear public safety and I think that's great, but what are some other things that affect our county as a whole? Is it health? Is it, you know, we have a huge elderly population here. What is going on there, and what funds are we using out of the general fund to fund these different needs in the community? And can we target some of the bigger needs in the community and be able to look at what is the best mill levy for that then? So it, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't have to be specifically on that right now, whereas if you got all of the heads together and you guys did start having that discussion, and there was some public input on what people thought would be able, or would pass, you know, you guys talking to friends in the community, everyone that's involved, as to what your thoughts were, as to what you want to support for our county to be offering, what's important to you living here. And then we look at passing a levy based on that information. It's just something. What was that?
Not just saying money.
Not just saying money, but saying, hey, this is what we heard from our county, this is what we heard from the constituents, these are the services that are really important to you guys, so we're coming to you with this levy so we can continue those services. Me, I want public safety. I want to know I'm safe. I want to know the kids are safe here in the community. It's extremely important to me to know that we have quality law enforcement, that you guys are taking care of, and that they're going to be there when we need them. But that may be different for someone else. But getting that input and being able to come at it that way, I think guarantees you more of a chance with that revenue stream. And the thing I'd also say, what I'm hearing you guys say with trying to move this Title III money, I know it's a Band-Aid. I hate Band-Aids on bullet holes. But at the same time, with that, it does give the opportunity to look for these creative revenue streams. However, it's got to be a focus, I think, at each department head meeting and with you guys starting right after this is approved, what are we doing for revenue this year, and everyone continuing to generate ideas. And I started to plug into some resources at the state level and different things that I'm trying to get ideas from that have other counties have used and different things. So I'm sure you guys have too, but I think that that's something, if it became the main focus, could happen.
Yeah, I don't like the Band-Aid thing either. In fact, just when Jessica came on board around February is when we started to finally become aware that we were having, well, Mary, you asked about watching the money. I asked the person in our courthouse, how come the general fund appeared to be about $220,000 short? And that person basically dismissed, poo-pooed me away and said, well, Roman, it's because I just haven't moved the PILT money over. We're just fine, we're fine. That was not the case. The PILT money already had been moved over. It was the shortage that Jessica found. I'm not an accountant. I just believe the person that's telling me everything's fine. At that time, I couldn't even get on Black Mountain. So Jessica is costing us money, but if she hadn't come here and started getting things corrected, like you said, government would have just collapsed, and we don't want to be sitting in this chair when that happens, so you really want to try to make it, and we do have quality people. I don't want to lose any of these nurses or any of these deputies that are, finally Tommy has a good crew of deputies. We've got all kinds of talent in our courthouse. Even the guy sleeping there, the planner guy. Tom?
Hey, I was just gonna ask, it sounds like Jessica's been able to identify positively what's happened with this money. Is that accurate? Or has someone been stealing money from us?
No.
No, well.
No,
I don't.
I mean, if we.
I don't. Theft is a hard thing to find because they make it that way on purpose. So, so auditors, so every year when they audit, they do they don't actually audit for fraud. It's something that isn't, but.
Here's why I asked that. I mean, has that been able to positively been
ruled out?
Yeah, ruled out.
I don't see anything that appears fraudulent.
Okay, because
I don't.
I know a guy that works in the service that loves to work money. And
I think
I'd love to come and look at it if we need that.
I think basically what it was is, like Jessica said earlier, when we were in a spot where the budget didn't necessarily balance, we had cash reserved, and so they were just being eaten into, so the county could continue to operate without being bankrupt. But now, 4 or 5 years later, hey, wow, look at that, we've been eating away at it, and
okay.
I think that.
I had to ask that from a cop's point of view.
I don't know. I just don't see anything fraudulent.
And all of our costs increase every year too. The health insurance has gone up, continues to go up. Actually, with Mako, we've been pretty lucky.
Yeah, it hasn't gone up the last
hasn't
2
gone
years.
up the last 2 years, so we've been lucky there, but it is a good plan, and I really think that we're gonna have to start looking at
Revisit that.
everybody sharing in the payment of that. We can't do that this year, and you have to get on that early in the spring.
But we're all on board. If I'm sounding a little bit harsh tonight, it's not that I don't appreciate the job that I have and what's going on. It's just been a little frustrating right now, losing an employee. So I'm being a little boisterous about it, but I want it to work out. I've already, not even that I really had a choice, but I've worked and my budget is much lower than it was and would like to continue. So I just don't want any hard feelings. I just want a voice.
Well, and I'll say that too. So again, do we want to do a test run with me for a couple of weeks and see how it is?
You tell us.
I'm willing to do that. If we're willing to take that
Should just generate
chance.
If
Do you
it
want to
count,
wait though until Boone can actually?
If it doesn't generate.
Well, that would be
Yeah.
ideal.
That simply means you.
Yeah.
Do we want to wait?
Yeah.
Because he's only on
Do
light duty.
we want to wait until he's
If it
back
doesn't generate-
full duty before we try that?
Probably, because then
That
you,
make a lot easier, make more sense.
yeah.
To me, more responsible.
I mean, as long as it's, the overtime thing.
Right.
If it doesn't create overtime.
But I mean, like I said, you don't have to do it all at one time. I mean, if you one day a month or 2 days a month or, kind of spread it out.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm thinking more like a week at a time, not a day, because it's, I mean.
Well, I
there's some
guess
travel.
back to the overtime thing, Tom, I think it's a great noble offer, but, so if it doesn't generate overtime, to me, just looking from the outside, then you're one person too heavy.
Or not, we could actually, honestly,
But then, I mean, it's a good
we
point,
could
Bill.
use 5 more and still with the call load. I mean, we're, right now, for just misdemeanors, we're 8th in the state. Of 56 counties, we're sitting at 48 most of misdemeanors. That's not talking about felony arrests. They're way up there too. So, I wish I could say, yeah, Dwayne, I'd love to be able to lay somebody off. I'll resign before that happens, and I've said that already, and I'm gonna stick to that.
And I believe it, but I'm just, do you see my point?
Oh, absolutely.
If you're gone and it doesn't cause overtime,
Well, I can't say that it won't, but then I can't say that it will either. It just depends on your call load, what's happening during that time frame.
Well, I don't think it's really fair if you're asking people to try to cut back this year to look at that and assume that's gonna be the way it is forever. I mean, just because Tom's willing to try to save some money for the county, he shouldn't be penalized
but we
next
don't
year.
know, no, I'm not
No.
saying that he should be penalized.
But that's
I'm
kind of
just
what it's
saying,
sounding
we don't know that it's gonna save any money.
No, you don't,
Right.
but to
But I-
look at it in
That's
that
why I say I
direction.
think the smart and responsible thing to do is wait until we have the undersheriff back full time before we test that. And I think then it would be okay. I think.
Better chance.
And just one other comment, and I don't want to stir the hornet's nest, but I do think if you look back at if we could put that up there, the history of the sheriff's budget over the years from 2006, I believe it goes back, doesn't it? Or 9?
Yeah,
Is
the
that
bottom,
earliest one?
the bottom line is, this
I
one's
think,
sheriff.
I think those real low years on your budget was directly manpower related.
It was.
So it hasn't always been 7
It
deputies.
has. But it hasn't, it's not because they weren't forecasted for 7. It's because, people were on a medical or,
We couldn't keep them.
yeah, or we had one that left and we didn't have.
Mhm.
I mean, it hasn't happened to me. It has, because we've got people on medical right now, but
We have the cops
But-
grant too.
But we've always had that, the 7. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And we had the cops
He
grant
has the cops grant.
Yeah.
those years.
That too. So, I mean, looking at that, historically, it's not an accurate picture of what's really going on there. I mean, it's accurate as far as money's concerned, but of course, there's a story behind, I think, everything that you look at there.
Yeah.
And because this is, the biggest budget, I mean, it's almost $1 million, that's kind of why, back to levy thing, that's the one that would make the most sense on the whole sheet of all of our general fund, fair, library, planning board, senior citizens, public safety. Levy is the best one to help support that, and then that would free up some general fund money to go to other entities, health department, planning board, extension, district court, fair. I mean, we only give $12,000 to senior citizens, and that's $4,000 for St. Regis, $4,000 for Superior, $4,000 for Alberton. I mean, someone asked about the elderly. $12,000, that's a drop in the bucket compared to some of these funds that we're looking at. And I certainly don't want to cut the senior citizens. Those gals do a great service once or twice a week for all the people, and they feed them. And I don't know. I mean, we have essential services, and then we have what they call non-essential services. And that's why the library, we asked them to do another $10,000 cut because they've kind of been growing as well. But a lot of people feel that they're essential and not just luxury.
Right.
But they could also have a levy if they wanted to too, I believe, couldn't
Anybody could, couldn't they? I mean, any one of the departments,
Mhm.
really.
it's a
But
matter
I
of
think
selling.
that's what we need to consider. Like this young lady said, you know, I mean, we need to consider where it's most effective and where our best chances are. And I think it's pretty clear, I think, for the most part.
So Jessica, back to tonight's business, we're still needing to find $20,000 of that. So you can input numbers or,
Can you go back up to the top, Jess?
Right there.
So I know Ronnie and I have already looked at some things that we look like we can do some more. We're gonna take another good hard look tomorrow and see what we can come up with to help out a little more with this, to help balance this.
Do you have a rough? She needs numbers to input for tomorrow.
On the 2,300, the line item 370.
free items.
$6,000. The two paper elected officials. Right.
I'm sorry, Ronnie, so hold on. Okay, 2,300, what, law enforcement or,
Yes,
okay, what object?
370. You could take another 2,000 out of that.
For travel?
Yep, that would only leave us with 2,000.
So Harold already told you absolutely. Harold already confirmed absolutely positively. Yeah.
Did you have something else in mind?
I'm looking.
Yeah.
So can I ask a question about your policy? So when you have somebody substituting into a higher grade position on a temporary basis, whether it's daily or weekly or whatever, they get that higher rate of pay when that person is gone. And there's
What
been-
higher rate of pay?
Well, let's just say,
So like when Lorna's gone, the gal filling in for her does not get Lorna's pay. She gets much less, $8.50 or $9.
oh, okay, I was under the impression that they got bumped up for that time
No.
period. Okay, and then that's, I don't need to go any farther.
The reason our budget changed so much is because we did the increase on the inmate meals. And if you do an average of 20 inmates a day, it actually averages out to $79,000. That's why we had to increase. I don't know on revenues for the Board of Prisoners.
Peggy, thanks for being creative.
I
Thank
think
you,
that
Peggy.
we're still getting about 10,000, a little over 10,000 a month. I'll have to look at that number again. Because that would increase our revenues. But you can't guarantee that.
Yeah, we don't
I
wanna
think
get.
we're already out, I think it's budgeted pretty,
Pretty tight.
We're at a I think, for
yeah, so you're actually budgeting more in revenue than what you kind of just said, so we're probably pretty good. It's really, is it 130 or is it 120?
I thought it was 130.
So really, I mean, it probably should be 120 if we're only getting 10.
I'll look at it again.
But-
If I have the invoices or the
It's-
invoices that were filled out.
I don't. I think we just need to make the decisions tonight, because I don't have time to have changes tomorrow. I mean, this is already, super late in the game, right? So it needs to be decided tonight, so I can finish it tomorrow and give it, because we're at 4 o'clock, we've moved it back the latest as we can.
Yeah.
So then I have until 4 o'clock to actually finish it.
So if I asked my clerk that gave up, went to 30 hours, if she could do 20 hours, if she would still get health insurance, would she still be able to get health insurance?
What is it, 22 hours they have to?
Whatever's
We,
needed.
it's 20 hours, but it's up, I mean, it's up to us whether we offer it or not.
And Obamacare requires it at 32 hours. or
At
something.
30 hours.
30 hours.
So I guess that would be what would hinge on if she could get the health insurance. And I can't say that she would be willing to do that, but I could ask her. And I think Tom asked the question, but if I gave up my health insurance, you said that comes from a different fund and that doesn't. Okay.
But with the, Jessica, with the stuff that's submitted with the old title money and everything, you don't have a minus up there anymore, right?
It's still, this is the new number.
But she doesn't have what's submitted down in the bottom.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do.
she stuck it up there.
Everything submitted on the bottom is in that top figure. Everything's been revised for everything that you've
For the
sent.
55,000.
Well, you didn't add the commission now went up to.
Yeah, all those things.
No.
It's up above there.
No, so
Yeah,
we-
but she's asking about
This
being down below.
55,000 started with everything that you guys had submitted. So that has everything submitted. Now we've added everything we've discussed about at this meeting. So we've added the 6,000 from the commissioners, 26,000, which is the remaining cash balance in old Title III.
Okay, scroll down to that box then. Because see, that's got,
But what she's saying, Kathleen, is that number that's up there, that 55,000 in yellow,
It includes these.
it included those already. That's what was still had to be cut even after those.
This was the remaining amount that was still supposed, that the department heads were supposed to come up with.
I got you.
And even when we
But
came
this
up
has
with
been
that,
reflected
short,
up above.
15,000.
That's correct.
Well,
So if I cut my 2,000 out of travel, then are you guys still gonna cut the 2,000 I get for the combined office? Am I still gonna lose that $2,000?
Jessica, do you want to take another 1,000 out of my supplies? Do you need the number?
Yes. Well, first I have to find
So,
the
yeah.
fund.
2180.
And I said last time, you can take the supplies from the commissioners. We don't need anything. Leave me $150, you can take the rest.
So 2180,
410, 331, 210.
410.
need supplies or something?
Okay, so I have 3,000. You want to go to 2?
And leave at least 300 in there. Might need to buy some paper.
Okay,
I'm going to convention in 2 weeks. I will load up. I will have my little bag and I will load up.
That's okay, last time I still use it.
5,000 out of supply budget for the 2,300 in the sheriff's department.
Oh, that's good.
But it takes it to 20.
But that's, I think, the lowest we can go. I don't think.
For law enforcement,
Yes.
210 supplies. So you're at 25.
Right.
You want to go to 20?
Yes.
So we'll watch our budget.
Thank you, guys. And then Charlie had a suggestion, Jessica.
Yeah, what was yours? You want to take
Take I don't know, 800 from, because I think there's only 1,000 left in there now.
supplies for commissioners? You're 1,000.
So take it down to 300 or just, Lori will go to convention and she'll get us loaded up.
Yeah, but they only have so much stuff that I can load up on. Pens, I can get lots of pens.
Really,
That works.
sincerely.
Well, we can look at that idea of consolidating the PO boxes.
That's so,
It would create more work for employees and it is not Jessica didn't
Okay.
feel it was a savings when we talked about it.
and then you have to make sure that somebody's sorting it out and getting it. It doesn't seem that beneficial. So you want to go to how much, Charlie?
300.
So the savings would be
We could just get that. legal services out, it would make a big difference.
Yeah, I mean, what are we at? What are we there on that line item?
For legal
40,000.
For the
services?
union attorney?
For legal services, you guys are at $40,000.
So I think we can cut. Well, we're done with the, no? Okay.
Well,
I don't think
you know
it's
what?
Done with the CBA.
We might be able to stay a little bit because maybe I could just do it without him, just use him at the very end.
There you go.
Because
Well, and we're done with
the
this
last
one.
time that Fontaine guy just met me in the hall and wanted to hash out a
Yeah.
deal, and Dan John wasn't even around, and neither was, I don't know, we could probably, I think we could cut 10 out of that.
Jessica, I think we could take another 500 out of my supplies and 500 out
As
of
long as there's
travel.
no
You don't know
union
that.
problem.
You don't know that.
We don't know that yet.
That's why that money was there.
Yeah. But I think we could cut 10 from it.
So go to 2,000, Dale?
Yeah.
And travel's gonna go to 500. Is that correct?
Because we used Dan Johns a lot this year,
Oh, yeah.
but we could probably cut 10, I think.
You don't know that.
Well, we're already, since the start of the budget year, how
We
much have
dipped
we
into that?
spent? We've already, yeah,
Yeah, that's true. Mhm.
we've already, since the
Yep, yep,
first
yep.
of June, we've already.
Yeah, I think
there's
so.
a
Maybe-
great big.
Okay,
Yeah, leave it alone.
5, can we cut 5? That's probably a full day of
Jeez, we're still at
negotiation.
10.
Travel.
Just don't call me unless you absolutely have to.
Yeah, don't
Keep
call
it
her.
short to the point.
Yeah, I know, he called me today and I didn't call him back.
Yeah.
Short to the point.
Told him to email me.
Yeah, but he'll
His
still
rate's
charge
cheaper
you
for
for
emails,
that.
it's cheaper.
Oh, they did cut that clerk to half-time too.
That would be $72.80 if she
Yeah.
accepted that. $7,300.
Yeah. So that would put us below, we need to cut on ours.
Should we call her?
No, he can just decide.
Because what?
Oh. Well, maybe he wants to call.
Yeah.
Yeah, I realize that.
But I would want assurance that she gets health insurance.
Yeah, you would.
Well, if if that person is working even 10 hours a week for the airport, the way that we had set it up originally, then she would still be at her 30. So,
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think that would be an issue.
I think that would work then.
mhm.
Really? Okay. Did you want to call her first, Dale, or should we plug it in, or what? I mean, you want to go out in the hall and call?
Okay, I don't have my cell phone, but
You can use mine.
Uh-huh.
I don't have,
We- we-
and I don't have a phone number either. Do you have?
I do not have her number on my phone, so I wouldn't be
What was
any.
that? What was that?
We, I mean, that,
Do
we
you
got
know-
a big
Find
bill
out
and
her
we still
number.
haven't, we should
Dwayne's
be
right.
getting another one.
You're gonna-
Dwayne's
you're
right.
gonna
We've
spend
already
more
used
money.
some money in there.
Yeah.
What was our total though? I'm trying to figure out.
It was like 17,000.
For this, since
For what we
July
spent.
1.
Somebody
We
wanna
still-
give
we
Dale
still
Cindy's
not
phone
done.
number
I
and a
mean,
phone
Oh,
we're
yeah.
Still,
So what was the total for him for the last 14 months?
oh, for the last,
Oh, geez,
I don't know.
I might have it.
no idea.
So she was still at the 10 hours of
Do
the
you have
airport.
318?
Well, yeah, he sat,
You know,
remember Lori sat with us?
I have 3,
While time was
350.
wasted
Oh,
away
yeah.
shooting the
Okay.
breeze.
I don't know how old this number is.
Well, then just sitting here and then back and forth when we had the mediator guy.
But maybe,
Here, try it, I think that's it.
You think they're?
So funny, I hear that phone ring.
It's loud.
Oh, he's out there?
Did the salary board vote to give that to them anyway?
They make recommendations.
But did you already take it out? For the elected officials?
No, it's still in.
Oh, it's still in, okay.
They just recommended a race freeze.
Oh. But that's statutorily, is that why they get that $2,000?
No. For the majority of the offices, it's a May, and so the commissioners at some point in time approved it. There's a difference of opinion on if you can take it away while that person is still in office.
Yeah.
I've always been under the impression you can, but some elected officials say that you cannot. Once you give it to them, it's theirs for the taking for the rest of their term. I don't believe that is true.
Madison County, when they had their financial problems, they
Yeah.
took it.
Yeah.
But that's something we can get
Opinion.
in first thing in the morning.
You could do that now and then. Because I'm
Right, yeah, that's what I'm saying, we can take it away now and then, I guess tomorrow if we can't, then we'll have to, I'll give up more.
Well, yeah.
So we got 10,000 more to go.
Yeah.
And you're gonna need a mill levy.
Can I ask a question about a levy? When you say a mill levy, does it have to have an actual title to it, like public service mill levy, health levy? Can't we just get a mill levy that?
You have to explain on the ballot what that mill levy is being used for.
So the public knows
So that the public knows.
what the intent use of the money. So it's not just going to pay raises for commissioners or something.
Fishing trip.
Say if you were, say, 3 mills or whatever, and 2 of them's going to public
Like-
safety and 1 to the health department, or.
Like the hospital, they had to be specific enough and they had to assure the public they were going to pay off old debt and nothing was gonna go towards new equipment, blah, blah, blah.
To me,
So it has to be explained, what it's gonna be used for.
Does your health insurance plan definitely state that they still get insurance if they drop hours? I know we had to go through a whole process with being grandfathered in,
Oh.
and so we had to keep the same set parameter that we had. We can't offer insurance, and this is with our insurance company, for anybody that's below 32 hours a week. And certainly, I don't think it paid for a furlough. So I mean, be clear on what your health insurance plan says,
Yeah,
what you can do.
as long as the commissioners have done it and noticed it and put it in a motion, that's the intent.
That's kind of unusual.
Then they'll make a will. And because we're a,
It's a pool.
we're
They're
our
a
own
trust.
group, we're a trust.
Okay.
We're not going through like Blue
We're in a
Cross or
pool with-
anything.
Right.
We do it ourselves.
We're in a pool with a bunch of other counties and our rates go up or down depending on how healthy we are with the pool.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Um,
Mark.
Mhm.
And I don't know much about it because I'm currently with the state on my health insurance, so I don't have the county insurance, but Dwayne tells me it's fairly good.
It's very good.
Um,
So, Jessica, let's say I have a jury, and I pay the jury, and I don't have any money in my budgeted line item. Let's say we take that $3,000 out of there. So basically, we are using somebody else's money to pay the jurors, but we will
state will reimburse you?
Mostly.
So there's a window of time where she's negative until the state reimburses her, right?
Well, I think if we were to look at the revenue, didn't you budget that so the revenue offsets that expenditure anyway? So,
We did.
right, so it has a no gain, right? Because if we change it, do you follow?
Yeah. Did we change the revenue when I changed my numbers this last time when I submitted?
Were some of those also offset by revenue?
Yeah.
So no, so those have a no gain.
Okay.
So that would need to be changed and that would make our number worse.
Uh-oh.
Let's not go.
So which ones were the jury ones are, you can get reimbursed on, huh? And you had one jury one for like 3,000 or something? Yeah.
So really it's 13,400?
Something like, let's see.
Well, I have budgeted 2,000 for jury too, and last year we were below 1,000 for jury witness fees, so. Wants to drop that down to 1,000.
But you
Is
don't
yours
get-
offset by revenue? His isn't though,
You don't
right?
get reimbursed for your jury.
Yeah, so his is a true,
His is a true savings.
his is a true savings.
If they lose the case, they pay, right? Theoretically.
Theoretically, but it's not something that has to happen right now. I mean, it could take them 5 years to pay the $1,000 in expenses.
I do.
Usually that restitution payments are like $2, $5, $1.50.
Did you want to change something, Dale? Are we keeping it, or do you want?
I'm just keeping it, yeah.
Just keeping it, okay. Okay. And I was just gonna look at district court revenue here.
It's that 55.
No, I mean,
Oh,
It's reimbursed at 95%. Let me see, so this should be. What did we change? And this one. We decreased that one 4,000. So 95% of that should be.
I know, you're not that lucky to get rid of that.
Well,
No, that's not right.
no, so that should be
She's a nurse from
more like
Calvert.
the 3.
She works for the health department.
25% of the 3.
Yeah, should come off of that.
And we can probably,
So this is really nice.
Why don't we cut our travel by 500, because if we can take some of it out of the road department? Because when we go to
to go to conference.
Because when we go to conventions, we've got the Forested Counties Coalition meetings, which has to do with SRS. So we can charge some of our travel to the road.
these two.
Right?
It's my civil stuff.
I think that was the
They always
plan
did it.
before they changed it.
Yeah, we always took the commissioners.
Because you just don't want to, right?
Hey, so we call and find out about Title III, we should have.
Exactly,
You guys,
because
so-
these
Put
two
that back.
items, if I was to have.
So Jessica, what we had to do is we had to come up with your job duties and then percentage it out, and that's what we take out of road for salaries. Like I get paid some out of road, you each get paid out of some out of road. It used to be 50%, but now it's only like 30%.
I drive the roads all the time.
Me too.
Me too, I drive to and from here.
I went to Salt Beach last night.
I told Jason I'm gonna start clocking him every time he comes into my office to have him do something, so that I can take more out of road.
Now,
Well, you gotta be
now
creative.
let's
That's
say
right.
I don't have, and I have a big
Travel
salary,
on
big
commissioners, and
criminal.
then supposedly this year. Split our travel
So
between.
if I didn't have that much.
Kind of starts to be drop in the bucket,
Can I
500 years.
Well, just kind of
Absolutely.
between, okay. Then we just.
And
No, we're in
that's another.
Fine, but if you guys do
situation, so we can
you guys
easily just
hold
put a
it.
budget between line
Okay.
items. Except for salaries. Salaries, that's the one exception.
Okay. So I think we're good.
Pretty good.
Okay.
Well,
Then we're good. Okay.
And then we've got
Cindy's at 72, 80.
7,200.
7,200.
And then if we can talk about that, that'll do it.
Yeah.
I'm just going, yeah, I'm just down tomorrow.
When you guys do that health insurance thing, where you're approving health insurance for people that are working 20 or 14 hours, I would make sure you're really clear that it's just for these specific people.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Only for 1 year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right, okay.
Yep.
You definitely don't want to set that specific.
No.
It would be really,
It'll be like grandfathered in. type of
It's a
thing.
lot of 2,700 for utilities.
Yeah.
On our budget sheet that was handed out here.
We'll get,
And in our regular budgets.
Well, isn't it
have
though,
that
if they
listed,
were
so we're
20
curious as to
hours,
what that is.
we,
you get charged for
we have to
phone,
offer it to them.
We have to
don't
get
have-
allocated
we
for
don't have to
phone,
pay for it, but we can pay for it.
possibly,
yeah.
So that's not out of the IT budget.
And we don't
it's
have,
probably
we have to
phone.
offer them.
Yeah, and I had to put that in. If you look on that budget, you'll see all
We don't
those
have to pay
actuals
for
from
it,
all the
but
prior
we can
years.
pay for
It's phone.
Right?
Yep.
Because it only,
Well,
we
I
only
would
have it
think,
at
yeah.
15.
Telephone.
Telephone, Blackfoot.
It's just because things weren't allocated
Yeah, because
correctly.
it wasn't before, so 15, 16 it was, and then it says 0.
Budget. Let me see, let me look at it with you one sec. Or just, yeah, just bring it over here. So it's, this has happened a lot.
Okay, so there.
Yeah.
I was up till 1 o'clock this morning.
We need to,
Yes.
Set it to I'm waiting for
because I know we talked about down the strike contract.
Yeah, Joe get them?
Yeah. But it, so then they get, so really, your 2,700 is probably low.
Right. Well, Carter and who?
Yeah, it should be.
Jacob's Fund. Oh, yeah. But that's what it is, yeah.
No.
Yeah. No, I do too.
You guys do. No, I'm not. But I think you will be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Search and message.
Well,
I mean, actually gone, yeah, I was up till 1 o'clock this morning reading the Title III stuff.
Well, and I talked to the feds about Title III specifically, and she told me no, and I still didn't like her answer, so I went to the auditor, and he still told me no, so.
and I still didn't like that.
And Dwayne still didn't like it.
Yeah,
Still don't like it.
I guess, yeah, I guess the only other thing, because that email that Tim sends, I have no idea. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. So it's almost like maybe you need to get a hold of that person.
So when I read
Well,
it,
but you see the date on that, 14. That person has changed probably 2 or 3 times.
Oh,
by
that
now.
is that old?
Yeah.
well, and what I think he was, the way that I read it and the way that the gal at Mako read it, or I mean at the feds read it, was that, okay, projects, well, yeah, the commissioners are the one that set the projects, but it doesn't say, can we use it for mapping or can we use it for, you know, it just says, it was too vague, I think.
But then the response is counting money and blah, blah, blah. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, it is kind
We will
It
talk
was.
about it with Dwayne.
Was.
Well, it's, yeah,
Hopefully one day will be again.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
If Dwayne has anything to
I
say about it, it will
know.
be.
That's what Dwayne should, it's good. It's a good,
And he
good
keeps
goal.
pushing it.
Good goal. Aw. Where did Roman go?
He left.
She's done.
I just have one question, and, you know, maybe it's already cut to bare bones, but the county attorney's office is listed up there. Do they have travel and supplies and stuff that can be cut? I mean, I don't know.
Really? I guess we sure could. You wanna look at stuff you
I mean, everybody else is kind of scrounging and looking at their travel budgets and their
Did
supplies.
we
in particular.
compensate for Marshall leaving?
We
For
didn't,
salaries?
we kind of didn't,
No, not necessarily, because we don't really know what's gonna happen. You don't know how much you're gonna pay somebody, you don't know.
so she was cut
how much
originally.
I know.
hours.
Right, for
But
how long?
with her leaving,
Just-
we haven't really done
we
anything
thought about
because
it.
We don't know what's gonna
Yeah.
But I meant
happen.
with her
Didn't look at
supplies
any
and
other
travel,
line
I mean,
items
like,
for
you know, the
attorneys
sheriff's office
things,
and
so I don't know if
Dale,
those
you
are- I mean,
guys
we
are all
just,
scrounging.
did her payroll.
500 here and 1,000 there.
We sure
Yeah,
could.
they-
We could,
she
you
did.
guys
And
should
also
look at it
for
in
city
here.
order, I mean, is that,
The commissioners went
Yeah,
through and did,
got that?
yeah.
New county attorney without
Because the
the
difference
longevity
coming in
that
that
Marcia
Mac guy,
had.
I heard him.
That kind of
get
stuff.
for,
Yeah, we didn't,
whatever
we just
it
were gonna
is,
leave that like it was.
You know, ordained or whatever.
But if you wanted to, you could look at like you could look at, that's what she's saying.
Oh,
You
he's doing
could
it
go
as
look
a-
at
as
the
an
attorney
independent
travel and
contractor.
attorney
He's not an
supplies. It's in
employee.
your,
We have that.
it's in your handout.
Which means we don't
You
pay
got one of these,
fringe
right?
on,
Yeah.
on those salaries. We're not paying him salary, he's a contracted employee, or contracted person.
How long is the contracted for?
Don't want any
6 weeks.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you really don't know what's.
No,
Which one is
we
it?
need to find a.
No, I'm trying to find it myself.
And you still have, in that office, there's
So it starts on page 6.
It's just one county attorney and one, yeah. Yep, they cut that.
And has the salary been changed or what?
So
So
this,
supplies are 4,000.
the salary will be changed, it won't be as high because.
You know, she did come in
Marcia was
here and-
here at a.
On our very
you know,
first
she was
meeting
here, she
and
had
marked
some
down stuff. I
longevity on
don't know if you
hers.
remember that,
So it
but
will be a little
you
less.
could sure take a look at it now.
But that's.
I mean, training, look at
So what
training.
about
How much they make, and we get, but we only get, see,
Facility,
50% of it is reimbursed from the state.
Last year we
So it's a
spent
pretty small portion of the
We've already
county pays actually.
We've already listed it that. Do you want to look at that again?
Which one are we talking about?
All of Roy's budget? I
Oh.
think we should look at the attorneys right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm staying with the attorney. That's what page I'm on. So,
Yeah, go to page 7. And see if you think you want to cut anything there.
so our training is,
I'd say cut 1,000 out of supplies.
How much out of supplies, I'm sorry?
4?
It's currently 4. They're going to cut it to
but in
3.
years past, what, wonder what her example of supplies, look at what they were before, they were 5 before.
There were 7, weren't there?
Yeah.
Look at the other one that, travel.
Charge you a huge amount for COVID.
No, training. Training could be cut. It looks like.
There are some things that that the county attorney is like statutorily required to attend. I don't know what they are or anything, but I know that there are some that are, she's required to go to.
Well, one year there was only 530, another one 845.
How about, what's legal services?
It's our certification for certain.
They may need more training.
Legal services.
Yeah,
is
it was
that-
2,000
Legal
last
services
year,
is if we have to have like, if we have to call in a special prosecutor or we have to, those
It's
kinds
one of those
things.
areas that's going to be statutory, so.
Yeah, but look at the historical use of it.
Yeah, but now that we have
I
a
can think of 2
new
since I've
county
been elected.
attorney that
What, how much is
we
in
might
there?
have to do.
In that line? 10.
Last year they spent 27, the year before 33, the year before 1,100, the year before 220, and the budget's at 10,000.
Yeah. I think that's also if she has if there's a trial and they have to pay overtime to deputies, to highway patrol, to whatever.
Dale.
It comes from there.
Did you ever get the right phone number for Cindy? You never even got the right phone number.
I've got it.
I got the phone number, I couldn't.
Yeah, she didn't answer.
Yeah.
And I tried,
They
I
never
tried twice.
Oh, no, that's,
but
yeah, I
it
think we
says,
can whittle that one down a
"Can you
little bit.
reach
That
out?"
legal services
I
one?
can't
Yeah.
make that decision without talking to her.
But like there's a big, there's
Why
a,
don't we see if she's interested?
what's that thing called?
Phone or inquest?
There's an inquest coming
Oh, yeah.
that
Say she's interested.
there's a lot of fees that get
But I
paid
don't
out of that
know.
legal services.
I can do
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
Yes,
that'd be
but I-
pay for
I
the-
wanna talk to
Pay
her.
for travel.
For the
for-
specialist to
of
come
course.
over from Seattle who did the autopsy.
We'll just do that one tomorrow morning.
Okay, okay, sounds good.
That's probably why she boosted
Sometimes we
it.
can use the video conferencing equipment, which has been saving us quite a bit. of
Oh,
money,
we
too.
could use that for the corner inquest?
Well, it depends on the
But,
corner.
yeah.
Oh,
It
Well, and
depends
it'll
on
be,
that.
it'll be that gal from
Sanders.
County,
we were just looking at the county attorneys, maybe you can help us, Kathleen. It's legal services. One year they spent $220, the next year in 14, $1,100, then $3,300, then $2,700. Marcia has it at $10,000.
Text. It's just,
Can we cut that a little bit?
You never know. That's one of
I
those
don't
things
know.
that, that's where you want to budget high for expenditures a little bit, because that gives
Something
you,
is.
right.
I'm pretty sure we cut
We
that
have
one.
so little control over up there of certain things, and that's what's really bad. I can see, you know, she might have to bring in conflict counsel for something, and I'm sure that's why that's budgeted like that.
You said county attorney expense.
You can put a little question mark on things like that and pretend it's balanced, Jessica. Because she doesn't use it.
Pretend county's fine.
What's the
Just
song?
pretend.
Yeah,
It's
put
good.
a question mark. It's fine.
That's what I'll do. I like that idea.
39,
What's that?
county attorney salaries.
Was there anything else we can cut on that county attorney one?
I thought the detective investigator, wasn't that Adam? He's not-
Yeah.
That's no longer
It's
there.
all zeroed out.
Oh, I see, I do see the zeros. Never mind.
Where are we on hardware on IT? I can't remember. I know we sliced it a whole bunch.
I'm not letting you cut it. I mean, you're down to like nothing. You're gonna be over budget if you continue to do that.
Okay. Nobody's computer can break.
Right.
Is every printer like this, that too?
Because
We have
like
gremlins.
that.
Yeah. We have gremlins.
Realize that every time somebody sends an email,
No,
it was
you have
everything
one.
and you printed it.
I have
and
some
you
for the
have
sheriff's
a
office for when those go
line,
kaput, and then
and
we're
For the
it's
voice,
charging
and
us
you
like
cut that?
3 times as much for a color
You're
copy.
talking about-
I have 4 for you.
You are
That I'm holding on
Where
to.
we at?
Hey,
So
Jay.
we've
So it's
like
one of
percent
those
all
we
our
got.
people.
I was thinking
Wow.
of
Isn't
repairing.
that written in email? Because it always
Oh,
comes
that's
blue.
because
Yeah.
Print it out and you
The
pay it.
roof.
Oh, that is
Air conditioning.
crazy.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was,
Pen and-
that, I thought
pen and
that was
paper.
part of that.
A lot.
Yeah, that's what I
And
was
we
just
added it up,
saying.
it's
But
green.
We could do that, but
Yeah.
Repair and maintenance.
Dumb stuff
I bet.
that saves a lot of money.
We did that in our office too.
We're at 37.
Set it out.
You
Sometimes
need to get like a
Yeah.
default of black
Last year he spent
and
We do.
white.
Yeah, you
I
should
do.
like
That
override
includes
grayscale for
3,000.
everything and then you have to
Well,
get
look,
approval to.
Yeah.
I don't think mine is, because I
Something.
printed something the other day, like one of these, and it had the yellow highlights on it.
Your
On
printer
your
might be-
printer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
that's
on
what
yours.
But
Mine
see,
is
we
black.
don't pay
Mine doesn't
for-
have color.
We don't pay for
Repair and maintenance.
ink on ours.
On
See,
that
ours is
one?
a contracted
Oh, okay.
amount.
Okay, so it doesn't
we
matter.
found it.
I'm gonna,
But some of the
I'm gonna
departments
print
might
some
come
colorful
the same
stuff
deal.
then.
Because we don't have to let it.
Yeah, if you need to cut, you can come print with us because ours is
Free.
It doesn't matter.
It's not free.
You
We
buy the
pay.
cartridges that are.
Yeah, we pay.
How about we just cut utilities? You know what?
Just not pay them for a couple months.
And
Everybody should get rid of their little electric heaters, maybe they have to.
elected officials, if we can't.
Don't, I know.
Are you kidding?
Freezing down.
Me
You
and
know how
Nicole
cold
will
it's gonna be?
freeze.
Do you know how cold it will be in the winter in those offices with that door opening all the time? It will be
Adam loved
freezing
it.
down
He
there.
loved to, like, he wore shorts in the winter and flip-flops.
Yeah. It's gonna be cold. They should figure out why it's, the heat down here is so, not even.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is if we can't do some of this, then we have the option is we could take it. That's the place we could look at.
Oh, it's just freezing, like it'll be 10 degrees cooler over there next to that door. What are we doing?
I mean, here's the capital outlay where it was, got the jail giving 30,000 for their, whatever. But what was our count, and why is it so big initially and then?
Because we were including the, like the wiring and those kinds of things. We were also including the new roof on the,
Jail.
on the evidence room.
Oh.
That's why it was so much, and then we cut it and
I
decided
thought
not
the
to
roof
do
was
the
in,
roof.
I thought the roof was down here.
Jess, do you remember where we put that
Because
roof?
that's why we had, see, look, it had 90,000. So we cut the roof, I thought,
Do you remember repair and maintenance in Roy's budget?
and capital outlay
What-
versus,
What the, I don't remember.
We cut it, well, this says we cut it 16,000. Preliminary budget was 53.
so like there's a little heading
Four.
here, capital outlay, there was gonna be a building upgrade of 30, and then the jail needs those 2 units where, so 90 got cut down to 30, but now look at this one, the repair and maintenance one. Why did it start at 72, and then it's at 37, could it get cut more, or what was our the rationale on
So that was just like a huge budget that he started with. No, this was his budget last year. This was his budget last year.
that? Wow, oh,
This is his preliminary budget he started with was 53. And we said, no, based on these actuals, we thought that was a good number.
oh, so we really can't cut it more.
So that was kind of, just, it seems like
Average.
a good number to me.
Oh, you're saying 37s.
Compared to the previous years, look at them.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think it was.
18.
This was what they actually said. Last year, that's probably because of
Mark.
I remember we used to.
No, the actual last year was
Is that the same thing?
24,000.
He said 72.
72 is the budget for last year.
Oh, but he only spent 24, that's
Yeah.
72? Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha.
But then if you look at the prior year, it was 48 and 57, so I don't think 37 is,
No, you're right.
but the 72, that's a budget.
But
Oh,
They
okay.
just,
So yeah, we could still do that, Dwayne, because if last year was only 24, we could whittle that down to 7,000.
we'd be safe with that.
Yeah.
But make it more and more simple.
Do 7
there's no, those big decisions.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you guys should.
Where's my budget?
No, do I have it? That's nice.
Just to be open.
Okay.
Stephanie didn't acknowledge that. Well, it wasn't.
I lie.
You had it there the whole time?
Yeah. Came up with that number for fun. Just came up with that number for fun.
Yeah. Is that odd? Some supper?
I'm
Cold
good.
chicken?
No, I ate like at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, one of those calzones from Montana are pretty good. Have you ever had one of them?
No, but I like calzones.
They make them better cheese.
I've heard they make really good stuff. Is it the pizza? Do they make pizza too?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I'll have to go and check it
I
out.
was never really impressed with the pizza, but I like the calzone.
Yeah.
I'd rather eat those.
And they have the feta cheese one?
Yeah. Yeah, I forget what they call them.
Sounds so good. Like a Greek,
Yeah,
something
yeah,
called
that's what
Greek,
it
right?
is.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's good. I think is that one there? All right. What do you guys think?
Oh, I was wondering.
I know you want to take it home with you.
Well, if Cindy did agree to cut back, like Dale says, that's 72.80.
84.78 actually.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And then if the other elected official gave up the 2,000, then we'd be right at the mark.
Have you said salary?
Did you go to this? Kathleen and
I don't think
Stacy.
they're listening.
We ended up just.
You see what that would put us at?
I can't remember.
Who are we talking about? Oh, yeah.
Or clerk.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Oh,
I mean,
It really is.
what's that?
Yeah.
It's your guys' call.
Yep.
So let's just put that in there.
okay.
We'll just,
And then-
we'll put it in there.
Mine just started getting big.
Okay.
almost there.
We're getting there.
So should we ask out loud? Go, you want to ask?
Well,
Kathleen and Mary, so we're down to $4,800. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's not in the room.
So we were looking at the $2,000
what?
from each elected official.
Well, I don't know. I just don't know.
So how much is that out of each of my paychecks? How much money, I don't know how much 2,000 is spread over a year's time.
It's under $1 an hour because there's 2,080 hours in a year.
So,
It's probably,
What is it, there's
well, I know their
26 pay
salary, but
periods?
their salary's based on, if you,
$83.33.
What'd you divide?
I did
This is
2,000 divided by 12 divided by
No, well, it'd be, there's
Divided by
26 pay
26.
periods.
20, oh, I was
So
forget
there's
that.
70, it's $76.
$76 a paycheck,
Mhm.
which would be less because, I mean, it wouldn't notice as much because some of it's taxed, now less would be taxed.
So are you taking that from all of the elected officials? So is Stacy on the table as well, and?
So everybody so far has, except for 3. And so the 3 would be you, Mary, and Stacy, and that would be 6,000, we gotta hit 4,800, and that would be $6,000.
Tom has it. So
Pardon me?
once that's
Tom
gone,
did.
that doesn't ever come back, so I'm gonna take a.
No,
I'd
I'm not,
say-
what's that?
I said, so once that's gone, it's never coming back, I'm gonna take a cut and pay. I mean.
No, just for a year, we're doing all this just for a year.
No, Jessica said that this is gonna put a Band-Aid, we're gonna be in the same boat we're in next year.
No, we
Certain
also
laws.
talked about ways that the Band-Aid would not be a Band-Aid anymore because we'll have a year to try to get a public safety levy going. We'll have more time to discuss reducing health insurance costs. When we revisit that, we might have to go with, like Ms. Acker said, a less of a Cadillac plan. There are other ways that we can make this,
Make us less money for doing the same job and even doing more than what, I know I'm an elected position, I was elected to do a job, but got my hands tied on when I can and can't do. How many hours I need to work, I know, it's, everyone else is cutting too, but now you wanna cut my wages. And then next year you cut my insurance, so then I'm losing that. I have chronic illness, which I need that, so now I'm losing that, I gotta spend more money out of pocket. I'm gonna take.
we don't know if we'll have to cut the Cadillac insurance plan. There's other options too. If there's a public safety levy, maybe the employees would like to keep this insurance and maybe we can afford it. But we're just trying to get,
I think that this person that was sitting here, her idea for the county to work together for a levy for everybody was really a good idea.
Mhm.
Because, and this is not including me, because I'm really pro-union. But there's, I mean, there's a lot of people out there that, I don't know how receptive they'd be to a public safety one specifically. And I think you need to look at that. And I think, like she was saying, coming from the whole county might be a better idea, so that's just my observations. I'm sorry. No, you probably knew that already.
No, it is a good idea.
Yeah.
I think it is a good idea.
So I think if it's across the board and we need to do it, I just don't want it to just be assumed every year that it's gonna be.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, I mean,
but
we're just trying to get this year's budget balanced, you know?
And that's
I
gonna be
mean,
put in the minutes that it's temporary for this year. It's just-
Well, it'll be
Well, it'll be
visited every
reviewed
year.
every
Yeah,
year.
it'll be
Whatever.
visited.
at budget
every year.
time.
Right.
Yep.
I want to be the one to say I'm not going to do it, so take it. I think Tom's the only one that you can't do it to.
You can't.
I don't-
And the county attorney,
Just Tom.
for the county attorney you can.
County attorney you can, but Tom you cannot.
Okay, the county attorney's not in this list, right? It already is.
The county attorney doesn't get that.
No, she wouldn't get it.
Oh, yeah, that's.
But it wasn't, I mean, that's a moot point because we don't have one at this point to give that one, because you're appointing somebody, so it's different, so,
Well, yeah. There is no 2,000 for the county.
right. You're gonna have to be elected official, you should do that one.
There you go.
Hey, keys. Oh.
Well, and is that an option to do just 1,000?
Oh, yeah. Maybe 1,200.
Well, because there's two from Marcia, or two from the previous county attorney, right? Because that's included, she hasn't taken that out yet.
That is it.
So there'll be two from there, one from there.
Oh, yeah, okay. Would that be more amenable, 1,000 from Mary?
Well, of course it would, I really don't want to.
Okay.
I
All
could
right.
take another 1,000 off of my supply budget.
Okay, we'll do, yeah.
So when that ends up at 0, there's no bells that go off at this point.
We just rely on.
Confetti
We just rely on-
Yeah.
We just rely
No,
on
we
the old
can't afford
cheerleading
confetti.
experience.
I'll bring
We
it.
just clap.
The shredders.
We can use
So
the shredders.
Jessica, I can shed
can have them
another
bring the giant-
1,000 off my supply budget.
The 2,000 of Marcia's.
It's figured in
Yeah, I don't think
I
she
didn't
does.
think she got it.
She doesn't.
Because it's only those, I don't even think the sheriff does.
No, I don't think so.
I think it's just,
No,
I
the
don't
sheriff
ever
is
remember.
mandated by statute.
but he doesn't get a $2,000. Because the rationale for the $2,000 stipend for the clerk and recorder was the hanging chad, the elections were such a thing. Then the treasurers got it because they had the problematic Merlin system they had to work with. And then the JPs and then you guys got it, but I don't think.
Well,
that-
that's because we have combined offices. I'm also the jury commissioner.
Yeah.
Mary's also the superintendent of schools.
Right.
and-
That's what I thought it was
And we
for,
have
was the
elections.
combined offices.
They're combined offices.
Harold
That's why
Blatty told me it was
moved in.
because of them, because they were combined offices before,
The $2,000.
and they didn't get that $2,000.
Well, and
The
that's why
rationale-
But the
The
treasurer
legislature.
before, that was,
Yeah.
Anna got it before me. I don't know how far back it went.
Well, the hanging chad thing started in 2000, 2002. But before that, there was a combined office. But anyway,
Well, I'm using that statute, but really I have also tomorrow we're approving a salary resolution, which is, and on that I have what everybody gets, and I was thinking it was in here, but I think I'd have to go print it. But so I really was just reading statute.
Jessica, you can take another $1,000 off my supply budget.
Okay.
Because we all want to work so we can retire sometime. If you keep taking money away from us, that retirement gets less, not more.
I know. This will be the third salary freeze in
We've had more freezes than
9
we've
years.
had raises. We're going backwards.
That all goes back to the law enforcement levy and paying for the health insurance, which has been discussed year after year after year.
Yes. I've been here 16, I understand. I get it.
So your supplies, you're going to 2,000?
Yep.
because we could, if we didn't pay the health insurance, then we could give everybody a $4.26 an hour raise. basically. I mean, so yeah, I mean, it's what, you know.
No, the health insurance is more of a benefit than the $4.
Yeah, because you don't have to pay taxes on it.
Yeah,
Plus, you don't have to go bankrupt with medical costs.
And you, which that would, yeah, that'd be me.
So we're
think
still at
everybody in
3?
the county is very appreciative of the health insurance. They stay healthy. We have our insurance committee. We look at other things. It's been, the same price for, well, I think it's the 3rd year.
Mhm.
And we've done well, so.
Are the employees, is all the insurance paid or part?
All of it.
100%.
You know, there's not
100%.
many places in the
Right.
county, there's none
Right, just
that
the
do that.
employees.
Private sector can't do that. You know, that's just, it seems like a lot.
Yeah.
Well, you're also able to pay your employees more than what the county employees are making. The clerks aren't making as much as you're paying your clerks.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Everyone
that's
keeps
not-
saying, well, we got this great insurance, but you don't realize that most of the clerks, like $8.50 an hour, it's not a living wage. But we keep keeping them, I mean, we've gone up a little bit, but that's still not, I have a single mom that's basically on all the other assistants because she's making such small amount of money.
You know, we're a pretty economically deprived county.
Definitely.
And certainly, we have a budget, we can only spend so much, and we have to make cuts sometimes, and we don't give salary increases when we want to, and we're pretty proud of having a retirement plan and a good insurance plan, but we certainly don't pay 100% on the insurance, and I don't know anybody in the county that does.
Well, and I know in our office, we pay our employee $8.50 an hour. She's been with us for 2 years. She just got a 50-cent raise yesterday. She gets no paid vacation, no paid sick leave. She has no health benefits. I mean,
No retirement?
no retirement.
That's really more about the standard.
Right?
No,
Nobody
she's
in
my
this-
employee.
Yeah.
She's a salary. No, she's over at my,
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
yeah. I mean, that's,
Listen, it is.
That's embarrassing, Drew.
I know.
Well, it's embarrassing, but what's the choice? I mean, you can't spend it if you don't have it.
No.
Alright, so, who is pushing stuff down already? Let's just push some more stuff down.
So, the
Yeah.
2,000.
I mean.
So, they're amenable to the 2,000 when they elected it.
Okay.
Oh, that puts you in the plus, never mind.
I thought you changed it to 1,000.
Well, we came to realize that it's true that the county attorney is not part of that $2,000 bump.
Oh.
It's only for clerk and recorder, clerk of district court, treasurer, justice of the peace, and commissioner.
Is it, are you guys doing 1,000 or 2,000?
2,000 for,
Well, I thought you were just telling Mary it was 1,000 for,
Well,
I don't know, because.
Okay, are we done? Are you done?
well, we.
Is there
we could-
anything that we need, anything that's been done that we need to put on the agenda to?
Health insurance.
I mean, it's.
So the health
Yes.
insurance, what I have is the health insurance, the health department,
Yeah.
and then now I'm gonna add the salary, but you've got the salary resolution.
Yeah,
Well, if
so
you're gonna-
tomorrow we're approving a salary resolution also.
The salary board's recommendation.
Mhm.
If you're gonna start working on a mill levy, isn't it kind of, the time to start?
We can't, the commissioners can't do that. Can we? I mean, that's,
That's what I was told when we did
Yeah.
it before.
That it has to
We
be-
can't publicly endorse it.
Department heads?
I,
It has to be the sheriff.
the,
Has to
oh,
come.
and the
No,
health
I mean,
department.
no,
or-
not just the
For
sheriff.
general, if we're looking for general fund
General.
money, I would think.
if you're looking for other entities that may need money from a mill
Oh,
levy
I see,
increase,
I
is
see.
what they're talking
Like
about.
the library or, and we've talked, I'm on the board, we've talked
Okay.
about that.
Yeah.
We didn't think the timing was right when we talked about it last year.
Well, it's like everything else, we always wait until something else is paid off, you know, before
don't
we
they
go,
have to-
before we go and ask for more. I mean, that's probably the only reason the hospital passed.
And the hospital is done next year,
But
right?
doesn't the sheriff then say
Tom
that,
even had another line item, they never
don't
even
they
gave it
have
to me, huh?
commissioners say we need?
So public safety.
I mean,
Well, what they're talking about is not having to be a specific public safety levy. They're wondering if there
So
can be a
public-
general commissioner voted levy for all county entities to, I don't know, I have to ask Harold. Because I
Yeah.
think it has to be specific.
I think more
Yeah, that's what I
specific.
thought.
Well, I think what she was saying there was that to have
It
a
is
meeting
by
to
far-
determine
Yeah,
what are
But I
the
think
needs
it
of the
needs-
county and what does the
that's
county.
what she was saying,
Like
yeah.
the
Voter.
library can come
Yeah,
in on it,
yeah.
senior citizens can come in.
But that doesn't mean that you're
safety.
gonna put
Well, I think-
a levy out there that says this levy's gonna cover all these things.
Well, I don't,
Because I don't think you can do
it
that.
has
I
to be
think
more
you're gonna,
specific.
Yeah.
you're gonna have to narrow it down and say the sheriff's department is,
Asking for
Where?
2
Yeah.
mills to run public safety. The health department is asking for half a mil or, you know, and be specific
It's gotta be
as
broken
to.
down.
Exactly, but more than just the sheriff's department, more than just.
but I don't think you can put, I don't think you can run that levy and say the library's gonna get half a mil.
No.
No, it's gonna be a public safety levy.
But I think you can also do general fund. I don't think you.
Why would you want to
just
do
be-
general fund? Because the
Because I thought
20,
that was the one that was in the most.
The
So we're
20
gonna tax our way out of it?
There's-
Is that what?
The reason the general fund is low is because of the other, primarily because cost for law enforcement's gone up. And
Most
so
other counties
that's
have
why
a law enforcement
They have a
levy.
public safety levy to cover those additional costs that the general fund can't cover.
the general fund doesn't even get any of those countywide mills. The general fund is 20 mills voted, that's it. All of our countywide mills, there's not one that even goes to the general fund at this point. It all pretty much goes to public safety. The majority of our countywide mills. We have 20 mills, and that's a good example. The general fund, 20 mills, it's a permanent mill levy, only for the general fund forever.
That was voted a long time ago.
Yep. And that's the only thing that goes into that general fund, is that voted. All the countywide is split differently, it doesn't even go into the general fund.
Yeah, it's split between these
All the rest of those funds.
fair, district court,
Yep.
comprehensive insurance, library, planning board, health and sanitation, senior citizens, extension service, and public.
So by doing it in the general fund, it wouldn't help one bit, right? It can't be a general fund levy. Okay, are we done then?
I guess, then, into the budget, you can go, I guess, but any public comment, we didn't have that on the agenda, but we're open for public comment.
What about the Sierra Mountain Road?
We need to get a pot of gold for a lawyer on that.
Yeah.
Was she joking?
Nope.
No, I think she's serious.
Well, halfway. I think it's a lost cause at this point.
Yeah.
Unless we win the lottery.
Did you ever get a hold of the public lands
See you
access?
tomorrow.
I didn't. But I did write to
Thank
the
you.
governor's
Thanks, Ms.
office.
Brown.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what they do is, you know, they deal with that all over the state,
Oh, for
so.
God's sake.
That's who I would get a hold of.
Okay,
And-
yeah, I
and
should do
see
that.
what they
You
do.
probably
know.
are.
Well, you know, they were talking about the governor's
That's what
office
CPAs
having
do.
somebody to work with.
Oh, not
public
really.
lands. I guess we don't have anybody.
I'll be here really, probably early though.
But
I
I would
always
get
forget to,
get all
I always
public
send it as an
lands
attachment
access,
too, though.
Yeah.
group and-
Okay, I've got the information.
Okay.
So, see you later.
Download, off,
See ya.
shut it down, start back up again.
I'm just on the verge of
Okay, I'll start trying to remember to make it a black scale. I always forget. Because I just can't be
To your office, what are we looking for?
Just the claim that I submitted. to
When
make
was
sure
it
I did-
paid?
It hasn't been paid.
So it's in the office. Charlie, will you let Mary in? She needs to find the claim.
Yeah, I can't default it. I have to do it every single time.
How come that comes out grayscale if it's default to grayscale?
Is that county attorney?
I don't know.
Charlie.
I think it's the
No,
lottery.
Is
He doesn't
the
start
Matt
until-
Erickson, is he gonna be around tomorrow? Do you know?
I told him that we had a,
Maybe then we better not make
Hey,
what the
Boone?
process is.
Boone, can you let Mary into my office? Okay, anything for tomorrow that you guys need me to do or get or?
Remind me to call Mako for what was the two things?
2,000.
Oh, yeah, we were gonna ask him also about the see where we need to go with our Title III decision.
And I know when Harold said that the commissioners, the $2,000 to commissioners, that it shall be, but then I don't know if he realized that we were only half-time county commissioners, I think.
It has to be for full-time.
But anyway, that's something we need to ask.
Okay.
And then I'm quite sure of the fact that even though it says shall, anybody can always waive anything if they want
Willing.
to, you know.
Yeah,
I mean, you're
we're-
gonna sign
Yeah.
something.
Well, I remember Sean saying that when Betty Moon one year was commissioners, they forfeited their entire salary. The commissioners.
I mean, every.
That was probably
Yeah,
back when
everything's,
salaries
yeah, I mean, we
13,
could, whether it's a
14,000.
shall or
Oh.
not, if we decide we don't want it, we don't want it.
Yeah, there used to be something like 500 a month back then. Yeah, so our Title III questions are, what, public safety question, levy questions? How does that get generated, you know?
Oh, right, yeah, who?
Because we
started?
can't.
No,
No,
we
the
can't,
sheriff's
we
gotta
can't
do
do
it.
it.
I mean, it-
And then the
Because Sean was
$2,000
adamant about
question.
Commissioners stay clear of that. You
Well, it
can't-
is,
Safety.
You can't, yeah, you can't
well, it was just like the
Public safety
hospital.
levy.
place undue
Right.
They had to
political
come
influence.
to the commissioners and ask commissioners' permission
Right now,
to.
this is read only. So where can I save it? To save it as, like, I need to do a save as so I can get it out of that.
Okay, go browse,
But we can't, when we go
Down
to a
under-
public
yep.
meeting with him.
and then just save it right
we can't
there.
Say we endorse
Okay.
this. All we can say is,
The facts.
this is the problem, but
Yeah.
Then I can
has
email
been
it
the
to me.
problem in the county for the last.
Yep,
Can I do
100
it there?
years.
I think so.
Let's do it here.
Otherwise, you're saying.
Right.
Give me money so I can
Yeah.
do my county.
Mhm.
Yeah.
God. Yeah, I don't know why that's, I apologize for her, but I don't know why people, you know, that's just something,
Oh.
bar talk, I don't know what the hell that is.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just what, all of the different things we would like to say, well, this has been found in this and this and this.
Yeah.
And all of the hundreds
Yeah.
of thousands of dollars that have been
And I was just
misallocated.
about,
Misallocated.
I was just about to
I
that
want,
point.
That's-
me too, I wanted.
That is what I would like to say.
Yeah, I had-
I guess,
Like, have a whole list.
I had to bite my
There you
tongue.
go.
I guess
If I'd have
maybe
thought of it, I'd have said it.
place that in a question.
Huh?
Say- Well, just place that in a question, I guess, to her.
And then
Say,
it's-
well, Jessica, where were the problems found that you
Right.
found? You know, where-
And I
was
still
there
think that that should
misallocation?
happen tomorrow after
I
our
wish I
budget.
remembered that misallocation
I
thing when
do
she was
too.
saying, where's the commissioner's accountability in this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, then there's way more than that, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Well,
guys go back to that. That was the big
Maybe
one.
make
But
out a
there's-
list and
I mean, just
make
the,
a
how about-
public record.
How about the county option tax giving $15,000 to the hospital every year that didn't have to go there?
Mhm.
Yeah.
How about so many
How many in the
things?
school?
Yeah, I mean, so many things.
Does she
And-
realize
And
it?
to sit there
Mhm.
and say, telling me, you know, things that have, you know, been right for years that are done wrong. It's like,
Mhm.
well, they are.
Oh, I wish I had been prepared for that.
Now they won't.
I do think that tomorrow, though,
I mean,
I
so
need,
You put a little list, I'll ask her.
Okay.
Or tell her.
Yeah.
I mean,
will.
it just, that's what gets tiring.
I think tomorrow it should be stated for the record. All of the,
The
all
reason
of the
why we're in the
stuff that,
position we're in.
how, like,
Yeah.
what has taken us to where we are.
Yep.
This is why we are where we are. These are the things that have had to be corrected.
Yeah.
And, you know, Jessica can stick up for herself. She doesn't.
No, I
belong
like
with-
Dwayne sticking up for me.
But
Thank
I
you.
do think that
I like sticking up for you.
it's important that,
Even
And other
if
ones.
we, even
Yeah,
if
I
we
do
fight
too.
about
I do
title.
too.
Yeah, there's a list.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me one bit.
On that
Fight.
subject
bother you?
is,
No,
I'm gonna be
no,
gone.
no, it doesn't.
I want to go home.
'Cause I know I'm right.
I know.
Same time I'm not.
I'm hoping you're right, but I'm still,
No, I
I'm
wish-
rooting for you.
I wish I was right. Wouldn't that have come in handy?
Yeah.
And Tom's wrong about the manpower. Yeah. We've always had some, well, no, we didn't always have.
really think
But
it would be a good idea if
we'd
we
like
went
to.
to that
Okay.
public
I do think
safety
it is
committee
interesting
meeting
though, because
and
passing a
explain
levy
to
for
them
public safety may be
just
difficult.
exactly.
Like what, if,
Yeah, if we
or,
have a list from her, then I
who was saying
can,
it?
maybe Dwayne will go
April.
into it too.
Yeah.
Because everybody,
I really
talk-
think,
every-
because I'll be at Mako convention, the next Republican Central Committee meeting, I really think
If we went there
if
together.
you guys
then I
went
could stand
together
up
and explained to them,
the problems of the budget in the county.
because
When is it?
the 21st.
So Wednesday night.
So Wednesday
At
night,
seven.
the third Wednesday.
Oh, yeah, when you guys wanna start talking
The
about
other thing you need to do is
consolidating
consolidate those offices.
Oh, yeah.
You'd save about 30,000.
Oh, yeah, there's that question for Mako too. How do we start that?
Oh,
That's
Or, I mean,
pretty
Well,
simple.
I-
You just read the statute and do it. I mean, it
Yeah,
should, like
but
I
we
said,
need to have a little
should get it on
discussion.
the
I mean,
agenda.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe
I-
in a month.
I don't
Okay.
think that, yeah, let's get through this.
But it's super. I
can't
thought it was a
believe it.
really great idea.
I can't believe we're gonna be on time.
That's if I can. We will be on time. You know we will be on time.
I know you did.
But anyway.
If I have to drag you guys in
Yeah.
here.
If we're not on time, we could spend the 300,000 in time.
how much is in that new money?
Oh, there's like 300 or something.
Some stuff.
Oh yeah. Where's my?
And what is so wrong with that, Roman? We can argue about what we wanna spend it on,
And
you know?
that's what's,
But it ain't gonna get spent on
No.
anything but doing 200 feet around somebody's house with a
Or-
little hand.
Or
Yeah.
making little handout pamphlets.
Yeah,
to
or a barbecue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a Firewise
No, you
pamphlets to
guys.
hand out to everybody.
416.
Are we earning interest on it?
That will be this year.
Do we get
Yeah,
to keep
you-
the interest?
Right now you
or-
have 353.
Do we get to keep the interest on it anyway, if we have to give it back?
Oh, yeah.
Technically-
No, we ain't giving it back.
Well, if we
I'll
don't spend it.
and take it,
But
God,
see,
yeah, I'll
that's
go
what
to jail.
upsets me, is it's taxes on federal government. You don't get to
Okay, I
tell,
think I'm gonna go.
our taxpayers don't get to say tell us how to spend their tax money. Why should the federal government be able to tell us how to spend their?
Especially when that was our money to begin with.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You have them all riled up now, Dwayne. God. Is what all of the different things we would like to say, well, this has been found in this and this and this.
Yeah.
And all of the hundreds
Yeah.
of thousands of dollars that have
And I
been
was just
misallocated.
about,
Misallocated.
I was just about to
I
that
want,
point.
that's me too. I want.
That is what I would like to say.
Yeah, I had.
I guess-
Like have a whole list.
I had to bite my
There you
tongue.
go.
I guess
If I'd have
maybe
thought it, I'd have said it.
place that in a question.
Huh?
Say- Well, just place that in a question, I guess, to her.
And then
Say,
it's-
well, Jessica, where were the problems found that you found? You know, where-
And I
was
still
there
think that that should
misallocation?
happen tomorrow after
I
our
wish I
budget.
remembered that misallocation
I
thing
do
when she
too.
was saying, where's the commissioner's accountability in this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, then there's way more than that though.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
you guys go back to that. That was the big
Maybe
one.
make
Then
out a
there's-
list and
I mean, just
make
the,
a
how about,
public record.
how about the county option tax giving $15,000 to the hospital every year that didn't have to go there?
Mhm.
Yeah.
How about so many
How many in the
things?
school?
Yeah, I mean, so many things.
Does she
And-
realize
and
it?
to sit there
Mhm.
and say, telling me, that, things that have, been right for years that are done wrong. It's like, well, they are.
Oh, I wish I had been prepared for that.
I do think that tomorrow though,
I know,
I
so
So
need,
you, put a little list, I'll ask her.
Okay.
Or tell her.
Yeah.
I mean,
will.
if, it just, that's what gets tired.
I think tomorrow it should be stated for the record, all of the,
The
all
reason
of the
why we're in the
stuff that,
position we're in.
how, like,
Yeah.
what has taken us to where we are.
Yep.
This is why we are where we are. These are the things that have had to be corrected.
Yeah.
And, Jessica can stick up for herself. She doesn't.
No, I
Well,
like
I know.
Dwayne sticking up for me.
But
Thank
I
you.
do think that
I like sticking up for you.
it's important that,
Even
And other
if
ones.
we, even
Yeah,
if
I
we
do
fight
too.
about
I do
title.
too.
Yeah, there's a list.
I don't, yeah, it doesn't bother me one bit.
On that
Fight.
subject
Does it bother you?
is,
No,
I'm gonna
no,
be gone.
no, it doesn't.
I want to go home.
'Cause I know I'm right.
I know.
Same time I'm not.
I'm hoping you're right. I'm still,
Oh, I
I'm
wish-
rooting for you.
I wish I was right. Wouldn't that have come in handy?
Yeah.
And Tom's wrong about the manpower. Yeah. We've always had some. Well, no, we didn't always have some.
really think
But
it would be a good idea if
we'd
I
like
went
to.
to that.
Okay.
public
I do think
Central
it is
Committee
interesting
meeting
though, because
and
passing a
explain
levy
to
for
them
public safety may be
just
difficult.
exactly.
Like what, April,
Yeah, if we
or,
have a list from her, then I
who was saying,
can,
yeah.
maybe Dwayne will go with
April.
me to it too.
Yeah.
Because everybody,
I really
talk-
think, because I'll be at Mako Convention, the next Republican Central Committee meeting, I really think
If we went there
if
together.
you guys
then I could
went
stand up
together and explained to them,
the problems of the budget in the county.
because
When is it?
the 21st.
So Wednesday night.
So Wednesday
At
night,
seven.
the third Wednesday.
Oh, yeah,
7:30 or
when you guys
7.
wanna start talking
The
about
other thing you need to do is
consolidating offices.
consolidate those offices.
Oh, yeah.
You'd save about 30,000.
Oh, yeah, there's that question for Mako too. How do we start that?
Oh,
What-
That's
Or, I mean,
pretty
Well,
simple,
I-
you just read the statute and do it. I mean, it
Yeah,
should, like
but
I
we
said,
need to have a little
should get it on the
discussion. I mean,
agenda.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe
I-
in a month.
I don't
Okay.
think that, yeah, let's get through this.
But it's super,
I
I
can't
thought it was a
believe it.
really great idea.
I can't believe we're gonna be on time.
That's if I can, we will be on time. You
That's
know
it.
we will be on time.
I know you did.
But anyway.
If I have to drag you guys in
Yeah.
here.
If we're not on time, we gotta spend the 300,000 in title.
how much is in that new money?
Oh, there's like 300 or something.
Some stuff.
Oh, yeah. Where's my,
And what is so wrong with that, Roman? We can argue about what we wanna spend it on,
And
you know?
that's what's,
But it ain't gonna get spent on
No.
anything but doing 200 feet around somebody's house with a
or,
little hand.
or
Yeah.
making little handout pamphlets
Yeah,
to
or a barbecue.
yeah,
Yeah.
a Firewise
No, you
pamphlets to
guys-
hand out to everybody.
416.
Are we
Oh.
earning interest on it?
That will be this year.
Do we
Oh, yeah,
get to keep
you-
the interest?
Right now you
or-
have 353.
Do we get to keep the interest on it anyway, if we have to give it back?
Oh, yeah.
Technically-
No, we ain't giving it back.
Well, if we don't
I'll spend it and take it,
But
God,
see,
yeah, I'll
that's
go
what
to
that
jail.
upsets me, is it's taxes on federal government. You don't get to
Okay, I
tell,
think I'm gonna go.
our taxpayers don't get to say tell us how to spend their tax money. Why should the federal government be able to tell us how to spend their?
Especially when that was our money to begin with.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You have them all riled up now, Dwayne. God.
That's what irritates me
Thank you for
sometimes.
coming.
Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome.